Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi out here. It's Sunday morning. The Raptors got beat by the Cleveland Cavaliers yesterday. It's really a game of two teams in two different places as far as with their personnel knowing each other. I mean, it's obvious the Raptors are very new altogether, and the Cleveland Cavaliers are rolling. How can you deal with that? They've won almost all their games so far in 2024. And it's because they have synergy, they have chemistry, they've been together for a while, they play well together, they got their plan, they got their coach, they got their system. Their players know what they're doing, the players know each other. So that all adds up to better continuity. That's the word. That's the word Darko used last night after the press conference. Continuity. There's continuity in their what they've done over the last couple of years that's added up to being at this place with their franchise at this time. This is what not as knowledgeable Raptors fans need to realize. There's differences in continuity and chemistry and cohesion that are stark. In fact, in the second quarter last night, we saw it very much the opposites of cohesion as far as what they did and what we did. You know, I didn't agree with Darko's rotations in the second quarter last night. I feel like he put too many new guys out there all together all at once. In some ways, if you want to be smart about integrating guys in, maybe you don't put Kelly and O'Shea in there for the first time together with a team that's all new pretty much. In fact, when they first came in, it was like Grady, Bruce Brown, and Emmanuel on the floor with them. Well, Emmanuel's pretty damn new. You got to count him as a new guy. Bruce Brown is very new also. And then Grady's our rookie, and he really isn't a steadying force. So that you got to line up, as much as it's cool to have the Kansas Jayhawks out there and the former Jazz together and all that. They don't really know each other. They don't really have connections. And it showed. There was a lot of like, oh, you were in that spot. I was going to throw the ball there. Oh, you're over there. That kind of stuff. The Cavs have a system that very much caters to getting open threes, and they work really hard to get those open threes, and they know what they're doing, and they know where to find those guys. So it's a very tough team to go up against. There were some things we did that were fantastic considering. I mean, there's a lot of promise with these Raptors, even though we lost the Cavs last night. There is a lot of promise. You can see bright spots in the youngsters and what can be possible going forward. Oh my gosh, so bright, so bright. The future of the Raptors right now. And anybody who's down on the Raptors for their future, you are crazy. You could be down on their current winning chances. Sure, you can be down on that, but not on the long term. Maybe on the short term is like, yeah, we're not going to win for much of this rest of the season. But, don't be upset for the long term. Oh my gosh. We got the opposite of what people are complaining about lately with Scotty. Scotty's not scoring enough. Scotty's not doing this. Well, Scotty scored enough last night. In fact, Scotty had 20 points at the half. In fact, Darko said after the game, this is the amount that I want to see Scotty going in the paint and taking over and hitting shots like that. You got the right balance last night. Darko has got the same attitude as I do. I can tell. In fact, I love it. I love that he said that. He said this was the right amount of Scotty getting in those paint and getting real close and getting those shots up. In fact, I still want him to shoot more. I'm like, oh my gosh, Darko, you are my guy. A lot of ways I found in this year, the first year of Darko, that a lot of his sensibilities as a coach, they align with the way I look at the game. They kind of like, I'm like, wow, well, this makes sense to me. And then I hear him say stuff and I'm like, okay, yeah, my coach has the same kind of mentality as I do. I can tell by the way he talks about things. Like he's talked recently about fundamentals and cutting out extracurricular fluff that can be bad or damaging to the team just to be flashy. He's talking about now that he really values Scotty Barnes taking shots and taking shots close to the basket. Yeah, that's my coach. He's got the right ideas. He's going to get better and better stuff out of them. I mean, how could you not be impressed with what Scott did last night? Triple-double. Yeah, he got another triple-double last night. He's what, in his third year, and he's got 4 or 5 triple-doubles. You know, Siakam only got 5 triple-doubles his whole time with the Raptors before. Scotty's got 4 now already. He's going to pass Siakam on the triple-double rankings for the Raptors for sure. And then he's going to pass old Kalo. Yeah, he's going to pass Kyle too. Kyle's got quite a few, though. Kyle's got double digits. He's in the teens. I still think Scotty's going to blow him out of the water. He's going to pass Kyle Lowry's franchise career totals for the Raptors. No, he's going to pass him. Watch. Because at some point, Scotty, he's not going to be like Russell Westbrook, but he's going to get triple doubles on the regular. Yeah, he's going to get them on the regular. Watch. Snoopy's here. First into the chat. Snoopy, how are you? Can you tell me how Charlie Brown is doing? Is he doing okay today? Or is he holding his head and saying, good grief? Well, either way, Snoopy, let him down easy. That's all I got to say. In this day and age, it's good to be just a good best friend to Charlie Brown. And Snoopy, I love you, man. I love your cartoons. The Sixers are getting the old crew back together. Nick Nurse and Kyle Lowry, the newest Sixers. Watch that duo win championship. Yikes, Snoopy. Yikes. Yikes. I'd say go back to sleep on top of the doghouse and keep dreaming. That's what I would say on this. Yeah, I mean, listen, some people may want this to happen, but I don't. I really don't. I really, really, really don't. And there, as a Raptors fan, I'll tell you why. Because I want Nick Nurse to be only a champion with us. I want that to stay special. I do not want Nick Nurse ever, ever, ever winning a Sixers championship. At the same token, I can apply the same logic to Kyle Lowry. I love Kyle Lowry. I would have been okay with him winning a championship in Miami. It would have been a little weird, though. I would have been like, nah, that's our champion. That's our champion. In some ways, Lex, you're being selfish. You should let the GOAT get other championships with other teams. You shouldn't be so selfish, Lex. I'm like, I'm sorry. I want to keep it special. Maybe I am a hater like that. I absolutely hate the Sixers franchise. I do not want the Sixers to win a championship again anytime soon. And any of that kind of talk, just because Kyle Lowry's on that team, is not going to happen with me. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to get on that bandwagon. Other Raptors fans may, and that's their right. You go ahead. In some ways, I won't judge you because I understand your loyalty to our guys, and in some ways, I respect that. I really do, but not me personally. I won't endorse it, and I won't get all excited about it or talking about it. You know, in some ways, it's not totally official, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. That when they moved Patrick Beverley on trade deadline day to the Milwaukee Bucks, I said, well, Kyle Lowry's coming to Philadelphia. As soon as I saw that move, I was like, well, Kyle's coming. That's him moving getting it open for them. It's so funny. Patrick Beverley shows up on Milwaukee. Immediately, he's coaching. He's got the clipboard. He's out there bossing people around right away. And there's an article on ESPN talking about how Patrick Beverley is pushy. Yeah, they couldn't have Beverley on the team with Lowry. I knew that. I said that before it happened. I said, well, they won't get Lowry if they have Beverley. But as soon as they got rid of Beverley, okay, yeah, they're getting Lowry. In some ways, Kyle's very excited about this. He put out a video about it, the full circleness of it. In some ways, what Kelly Olynyk talked about, full circle, coming back to Toronto in the last couple of days. Well, Kyle Lowry's going through it now, too. Full circle from Philadelphia all around the NBA, right all the way now back to the Sixers at this point. In some ways, Kyle Lowry wearing a Sixers jersey is a dream that I never wanted to see him realize, honestly. I'm not going to lie. I've always thought that there was probably an affinity for Kyle for his hometown team. I always loved how when he played for us, he took extra special care to lead our team to beating their ass. In fact, when Kyle Lowry was a Toronto Raptor, the Sixers very rarely beat us. Very rarely. The record of the Sixers against the Raptors when Kyle Lowry was in a Raptor jersey is like 1-15 or something like that. I'm not lying. Seriously, you can go look at it and you'll find that. So it did really matter to Kyle to beat the Sixers when he was on our team. Of course, we beat them in the highest levels of the NBA and the playoffs and a 7-game series on a last second shot. There's just too much history. There's too much history. There's the Allen Iverson stuff. There's the graduation game of Vince Carter. There's the recent series with Scotty Barnes and his ankle getting stepped on. There's also the Kawhi shot. There's just too much history. As much as we have friends that are Raptor, as much as we have friends that are Sixer fans, like Random Gamer, I still can't get behind this. I'm sorry. I've made the Sixers enemy number 2 of the season behind the Celtics, and it really is Nick. It's Nick. Nick being a turncoat, Nick being the snake coach, Nick doing the Kevin Durant to us. Yeah. Yeah, it really is him. I can't get behind it. If Kyle was going to Philly and Nick wasn't there, I might actually be more into it. Seriously. But Nick fucks it all up. Fuck you, Nick Nurse. You clutch bastard. You know, in some ways, that was a joke made on the broadcast last night. It's like, oh, this guy is clutch. Yeah, that's scary. Very, very scary. James is here again. Good to see James back again. I like seeing new names come back a few times. I hope you keep coming, James, and get to know your personality more. That's one thing that happens when you're on the Raptor Freak channel a lot. I'll get to know you, man, and I'm excited about it. Didn't catch the game yesterday. How are the new additions? All right, this is a good question. You know what? I really love what Kelly did. Kelly was Kelly. Kelly gave you that starter pack, that sampler platter of Kelly Olynyk stuff. He took a charge beautifully. He got on the ball and scrapped for loose balls, rolling around on the floor a couple times. Even though the score was like 20-point lead for them, he's still rolling around on the floor, scrapping and trying to get after loose balls. He's talking a lot on the court, communicating exceptionally a lot. In fact, Scotty said twice in his interview after the game that he thinks Kelly is a very smart player. He said that twice, so he really means it. And it sounds like also Scott is very approving of the moves that Masai and Bobby have made. He said that they brought really good players and they like them. He likes them. And he feels like they fit with what they're trying to do really well. So Scotty is given all seals of approval on the changes with the Raptors in his press conference last night after the game. And yeah, Kelly's just a really smart, gritty, gutsy player. And it was fun to see him out there. And he enjoyed it. You could tell he was reveling in being in Toronto on our home court, on the home court side, and hearing the applause from the fans. And it's just so nice. It's so nice. Yeah, Kelly was awesome. I was not impressed with Abaji, though. In some ways, Abaji was not making shots. He was kind of fumbling around. It wasn't very clean from O'Shea. Yeah, in some ways that he was a disappointment. But yeah, those were really the only 2 new addition guys that got out there yesterday. Yeah, those were the only 2. So Kelly, hey, the gutsy, dirty work, the communication, the leadership, talking a lot, very involved all over the place. I love, in some ways, like the uptick of energy and like he infused when he came in. Like he gets after it. And then, of course, the communication, the smarts, the leadership, that's all really good. Kelly said something weird, too, after the game. He said, you know, I've been talking to Scotty, and Scotty comes over and tells me to do stuff as a vet would that I know to do, but he reminds me before I think to do it. I thought that was kind of interesting. So Scotty is out there being a leader, too, and he's telling him stuff that he already knows, but I'm sure it doesn't bother Kelly. He's impressed that Scotty has that acumen already in his 3rd year in the NBA. You know, there's a lot about Scotty that is so smart and so cerebral. His vision on the court last night was unparalleled. He could see, as Jack or they were saying on the broadcast, he can see all 9 guys on the court and read them very well peripherally and all kinds of different ways. Like he sees openings that other people wouldn't see, and he goes for it. He's aggressive, and he'll toss the ball to somebody real quick. We saw some very sublime passing between him and RJ Barrett. In fact, it was like very tricky passes. There was one long court pass where it was just perfect for RJ to catch it and put it in the basket. That's kind of a bread and butter play for Scott at this point. look up the court, see if there's somebody down the court, and launch that ball way down there. And the perfect pass where they can just barely catch it out of the hands of the opposition, and they lay it in just by the skin of their teeth. We've seen this with Scotty recently. And then it's just awesome. I love how he sees people. He's very smart about looking for the shifts in the defense, where they're going, and then throwing it to the weak side when nobody's looking, and boom, Gary Trent shooting a three, making it. Yeah, Scotty's reading the floor amazingly right now. Amazingly. Court vision is unparalleled in some ways. He's like one of the best court visions in the league right now. I'm not gonna lie, he really does. It's not something that everybody has to take in so much information all at once. In fact, I'm seeing Scotty's computer kind of working in his head when he's in instant situations of what you do. Do I pass? Do I shoot? Do I drive? What do I do at each situation? I saw him a couple times. The computer told him, drive, go right at them and dunk it on them. Like turn around and flip around and go around them. And boom, you got a layup. He's playing really smart and amazing. Man, I'm so impressed with Scotty. The future is so bright. Everybody who's been talking trash about Scotty this week, you need to shut up. You're idiots, honestly. If you do not understand what Scotty's talent is like and what he's doing, man, I don't know how to get through to you. You need to open your eyes and just see it. Come on now. Cowboy saying good morning. Lex and the Raptor Freaks, good morning to you, Cowboy. Trevor J saying good morning, Raptors family. Big and better things to come from this team. Be patient as the front office sends in patient people, make bad decisions for themselves and others. Impatient people make bad decisions for themselves and others. Yes, and yes. I feel like the broadcast crew, myself, Masai Ujiri, Bobby Webster, Darko, Scotty, all of us need to keep telling people to be patient. Messiah said, you guys got to be patient. It's going to be a new time. The broadcast crew is telling fans not to get so overreactive and kind of be patient. That's the whole key. We're teaching patience to people that have none, that really do need this life lesson to become more patient. Because when, as Trevor said, you're impatient, you make bad decisions. You make rash decisions. You make unthought out decisions. And I ain't about that. No, I'm not. Trevor's saying to everyone, have a beautiful day. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Let's go Raptors. Yeah, Super Bowl Sunday. The big game today. And in fact, we've got a game to watch today, guys. There is a 9:05 game today. They're in Windy City against the Bulls. The Windy City Bulls versus the Raptors this afternoon. And here's our ref check. Our ref crew is such. We have crew chief Robert Hussey, number 12, his third season out of Queens, New York. His favorite TV show is Chappelle's Show. He likes the movie John Q. His favorite musician's J. Cole. His favorite book is The Four Agreements. He likes to eat Aki and yellow yam. His favorite app is ESPN. He'd most like to visit Iceland and also see the 7 wonders of the world. Yeah, Robert Hussey is one of the newer young refs. He's a full-fledged NBA ref, but he will be the crew chief for our 9:05 game against the Windy City Bulls today, 3 p.m. tip-off. So 2 hours before the the Super Bowl. So you should be able to watch the G League game today and still catch all the Super Bowl action between the Chiefs and the 49ers. Referee Brent Haskell, number 34. We know Brent Haskell. He's also a ref. And Sarah Williams is the umpire, number 20. So we've got 2 NBA level refs for our 9:05 game in Windy City today. Now, this is the thing. We did some very interesting things yesterday, and I love it. I was wrong. I'll admit it. Monique pointed it out to me in the chat on our Facebook chat yesterday that I was wrong about Justice Winslow. And you guys are exactly right. I was wrong. I'd said in recent months that Justice Winslow has no path to making the Raptors. Well, I was completely wrong. Completely wrong. I did not realize that Bobby Webster and Masai Ujiri would do what they did around the trade deadline and free up some roster spots. And instead of looking outwardly, maybe getting somebody like Corey Joseph or Bismack Biyombo or something like that, they went inwardly. And I'm so happy about this. Honestly, I'm not hating on this. I'm not upset about the decisions to give 10 days to two of our 905 players yesterday. I'm not. In fact, one of my predictions came true because of it. Then one of my predictions was not right because of it. I was right about Mohamedou Gueye. I said this last year in the summer league when we saw Mohamedou Gueye. I predict that he's going to be on the Raptors regular roster by the end of the season. You can go back and check my tapes last summer. I'm not even talking about it in the preseason. I'm talking about I said this during summer league, and the man had not even made our training day camp roster. I said Mo Gueye is going to be a Raptor by the end of the season. Well, it came true yesterday. Mohamedou Gueye signed to a 10-day contract, called up from the 905. Very interesting because I don't see the Raptors do this very often. I can't remember the last time they called a non-two-way up from the 905 squad. More often, they're calling other G League players from other other G League squads and not directly from our G League affiliate. But this has always made sense to do this. I've always wanted them to take guys from the 905 because honestly, and this is what Darko said about it, is all right, they're doing this because they want to reward these guys, first of all, because they feel like they've done such a good job on the G League this year. And then second of all, that it really is the whole thing that they know the system. They've been playing with some of the players already. Like Grady knows Justice and Mohamedou very well from playing with them already this season. They played with Marquise. They played with Javon Freeman Liberty. So, and they played with Jonte even. So them coming up is smart because they already know our defensive and offensive systems. This is the whole reason why we do the G League mirroring. Why don't we capitalize and utilize that to help us? So they called up Justice Winslow and Mo Gueye on 10-day contracts yesterday. And Justice was dressed to play in the NBA last night for the Raptors. I know y'all said, let's do this a couple months ago. Say, let's bring up Justice Winslow. Some of y'all were very adamant about it. And I said, well, I just don't think it's realistic. This guy's barely in the league. Well, they wanted to reward him. And they wanted to show that he does still have a chance. In some ways, I love it because there's a gumption. There's an energy in Justice about reclaiming his NBA career that he's like a runaway train. He's very a force right now. In some ways, he's going to bring defense. He's going to bring toughness. He's going to be grittiness. He's going to bring smarts. He's going to bring rebounding. He's a little mini Oakley. In some ways, he's the kind of player that'll get out there and put people on the floor on their butts. And, well, I want to see him play. In fact, I was kind of disappointed he getting to play last night. The garbage time went to the Jays and Garrett, Jalen, Jordan, and Jonte, along with O'Shea and Garrett Temple. No Chris Boucher and no Justice Winslow. That was annoying. That was I was sad about this. I don't want you to do this to Chris. He doesn't deserve this, Darko. If he's going to be on an extended exit out for the rest of the season and just waste away on our bench for the rest of the year, come on, man. Throw him a bone and play him some. Let him be a part of our rotation. I can already tell the reason why you're not playing him is he really isn't part of the future. There was no deal for somebody to take him. And I'm really worried. Why you do this, man? Play Chris. He's a fan favorite. We love him. And honestly, I want you to play him. Stop not playing him. He's not in your doghouse, is he? If he did something wrong, he's in trouble with your team. That's why you're not playing him. I don't know what it is. In some ways, I'm going to get in that place like I was last year about Doughton. With Boucher, if the Raptors don't start playing him at least a little bit, he's helpful. And honestly, he doesn't deserve this. He's a good player. He's done everything we've asked of him since he's been on the Raptors. And he's developed himself up into the player that he's become since he's been on the Raptors. And he doesn't deserve this in a way. You got to get him out there at least a little bit. And don't let him collect dust for the whole rest of the season like Thad Young did last season. Don't do that to him. Please don't. I'm just pleading with you, Darko. We love Chris, and we want to see him out there fighting for the rebounds and taking crazy-ass threes. We do. We do. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. Let's see. Chris is here. Our Chris, MSJ. I cannot see the Sixers winning. Good that Lowry's still playing, and I hope he can come back here next year for a vet minimum. Yeah, I don't know. He's playing for the rest of the year. 2.5 million is what they're going to pay him to go to Philadelphia for the rest of the season. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with him. I don't want the Sixers to win. The Embiid injury is going to make things a little tough for them to figure it out and see how he comes back on the timeline if they can figure it out and get it there. In some ways, they're struggling now. In some ways, they may not win as much going out the rest of the season while Joel's out, and their seeding may very much get hurt badly because of this injury, and that may be a big factor as far as home court advantage in the first round and other things like that. So the Sixers are reeling in some ways from the Embiid injury. And yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, I'm glad that you cannot see the Sixers winning. I'm glad. Dana's here. Good to see Dana. Good morning, everyone. I just want to listen to everyone's thoughts on last night. Yeah, I listen, the Cavs are a top team in the East, and they played like it. They played very sound. They didn't play down to us. They didn't play sloppy. They played very, very organized. In some ways, I wonder about JB Bickerstaff and whether he saw Wes Unseld Jr. get fired, and he's like, "Man, I don't want to be like that." In some ways, he's a similar kind of story, being the son of a very well-known, important coach GM from the past, Bernie Bickerstaff. And Wes Unseld Jr. getting canned in Washington. Well, that's a wake up call for somebody like JB. He's like, yeah, just because your dad was important around the NBA doesn't mean you're like going to be safe for your job. You have to do things. So he kicked in high gear and he got his team winning a lot in Cleveland right now, and it's paying off. Like we've said, sometimes you've got to build the structure of the team and get the team playing, and then boom, you start get going. And they're getting in that little patch where they're getting going. They've been working hard on their culture. They've been working on getting everybody healthy. They've been working hard on getting everything smoother and really running a philosophy and a way they play. And the Cavs are doing that right now. They really are very, very oriented around the 3-point shot. Like Jack Armstrong was saying last night, he thinks that the Cleveland Cavaliers have more firepower from outside than the Celtics, and that the Celtics better watch out if they have to play the Cavs because the Cavs can outshoot them in a shootout. That's what Jack Armstrong thinks. That's what he was saying last night. Very interesting. Cowboys saying Raptors bringing up Winslow and Mogi. Yeah, I never thought it would ever happen. I have to say I was wrong. I have to say I was completely wrong because honestly, I never ever thought that this would happen because I'd never seen them do this. In some ways, I predict things by the likelihood and of it happening in the past. And I would say, well, there hasn't been anybody that's been called up like this from 905 probably since like the Fred days, like back then. There's nobody that's been called up in this way. You know, we've converted people to two ways and switched them over, but never 10-day contracts straight up, plus all the two ways. And we have 3 two-ways at this point. So it's very interesting. That is why I was wrong. There was no precedent set for this to happen. Justice Winslow coming up. So I'll eat my words. I was wrong. But to be honest, I've never seen them do this before. So forgive me for being wrong. Forgive me. It really kind of was that the specific circumstances of the trade deadline fostered this to happen. These settings were perfect for this to happen. Otherwise, it wouldn't have. The deals had to be done, and 2 open roster spots had to come open for this to happen. And I couldn't predict the trade deadline moves they were going to make, that they were going to open up 2 roster spots and that 2 905 guys would get called up in this way. I love that they did this, though. Don't get it twisted. I'm not upset about being wrong. I'm very happy about it. In fact, I'd like to see this happen more in the future. I feel like this is a fruitful way to use your G League system, is to actually get players and bring them up and use them on your big squad. We haven't done that hardly at all. And if this is a sign to come with the Darko culture and Darko's usage of the G League, well, I'm all for it. This is better efficiency. This is better usage. This is actually using your G League is what I'm saying. Bringing up Winslow and Gee yesterday. Fantastic job. I'm so happy about it. I really am. It's a good thing. Chris is saying the new additions look good, but Abaji shot poorly. Yeah, he did. But Grady's still shooting well, and that crazy reverse layup, he's now shooting 40% from 3 in the last 10 games, over 50 in his last 3. This is good. He is trending up. And yes, He's shooting very good from 3 in recent games. I love it. I love it. This is the progress. These are kind of the benchmarks. These are the symbols of confidence coming. This is all good. That reverse layup was awesome. It had some people wowing. They're like, "Whoa, I didn't think Grady could do that. Look at that. Look at that athleticism come to the basket." No, Grady's building on his games right now. He's not, in some ways, it's an interesting thing because a shooter like him could have like 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of shit going on. But right now, he's building consistently without taking steps back. Like, it seems like the last few games he's come out, I know he had a 22-point game, and maybe he's not as good this last 2 games. But what I'm saying is he's building consistently with the level of play and not making mistakes. He may have less opportunities to shoot, and he didn't get to 22 points in the last 2 games, but he's playing very solid and efficiently where he's building. He's building, even if his numbers aren't going up. They're built. Every time I'm gauging him by his quality of play on the court, and he's building his quality of play every single time he takes the court right now. And that's the cool thing about Grady right now. And the other thing is he's so smart. He's such a smart player. And I keep thinking more and more, what the hell is Kelly going to teach him? What the hell is Kelly Olynyk going to teach Grady Dick? You think about that real quick. You think Grady's already ready to take charges before Kelly shows up? Well, just wait till Kelly gets some of the tricks Olynyk takes charges with. Yeah, I'm telling you, Olynyk's going to unlock some stuff on our team with his gritty, gutsy, dirty, crazy, rolling on the floor, I'll get after it kind of play. It's going to be fun. And you saw the trust between Kelly and RJ already there in the first game of them playing together. All the work accumulated between them on Team Canada transfers, and they're very familiar with each other because I saw the chemistry with them right away. No needs necessary to build that up because Kelly and RJ are quite familiar. Quite familiar, yeah. Let's see. Chris is also saying, my thought, however, is that the Cavs are now a complete team. Exactly. That's exactly right. They might win a round or 2 this year. We just didn't have enough quickness inside. They just really have their shit together. And if we're not perfect with our defense, well, they're going to eat us up. They're going to kick our ass. And that's the thing. They're playing at a high level. And to play against them and beat them right now, you have to play at the very high level on your defense. You have to be very good. In fact, I'm really proud of the Raptors defense because considering all the newness and the new stuff, they're actually really together. And, the starters are good. The starters are really good already together. They have enough familiarity with each other, and they really play at a high level. It's just when those bench guys came out. In some ways, the game was lost once again when bench came in and they were unfamiliar with each other, and they had that scoring drought in the second quarter where they didn't score hardly any points. That was embarrassing. And Cleveland was just going with their system, that high-level system where they're at. And we're a new team that doesn't know anybody, and we can't score any damn points in the second quarter. Well, that's where they separate, and they start blowing us out. And we hang with them. We make little mock runs to make it seem like we're coming back on them. And, varied success. Some of it looked really good and like, holy crap, we could maybe come back on them. And then some of it was like, no. Manuel and Scotty do a couple things, and then boom, all of a sudden it looks like it's like a 9-point lead. But no, it's a fake comeback. It's a fake comeback. It's just really hard to do against a top-level team like Cleveland that's rolling, that's winning a lot. You've got to think about Cleveland has been getting tests lately against teams like the Clippers, the Celtics, all kinds of top teams, and they've been beating them. So that's the thing you got to understand. They've been on a roll, winning like 17 of their last 19 games, y'all. That, like, seriously, they've won 17 of their last 19 games. That's crazy, y'all. That is crazy good winning percentage. And like they said, this is one of the hottest teams in the league and since the calendar flip. So it's just what it is. Cowboys saying, I think a bad G will be fine. He's just got to get rid of some rust. Yeah, I don't know. He just didn't impress me in his first game. He can be better, I'm sure. He can make those shots better, then maybe he'll impress me more. I don't know. We'll see. I have to learn more about him. I want to see more defensive stuff from him. And yeah, of course, I want to see him make his shots. I just wasn't that impressed with him right now. But who knows? There's going to be something that impresses me, I'm sure. Wayne saying, Lex, try and explain Darko's decision. All right, hang on. I jumped way ahead. I want to make sure I get the comment. It is Wayne Strainer, and he is saying, Lex, kindly explain Darko's decision to put 4 new players together early in the game. The descent started there when we needed help rebounding. Boucher is shunned. Darko needs to check his ego. It's not about ego. That's assuming too much. Your reaction and what you're saying, I had the same one, and I was upset with him too. I will say that was a mistake, that he put too much new out there and uncomfortable and not together all at the same time, and that was a mistake. I completely agree. In fact, I pinpointed that. And, if we're going to say Darko made a mistake, we'll say he made a mistake doing that. But let's not go so far to say he needs to check his ego. That's not what this is about. No. In some ways, it was too much new all at once, and it did fuck up the game. But in some ways, we can't get mad at him for that. In some ways, he wanted to get those guys out there. I wouldn't have played Obashi like he did last night. I wouldn't have. I would have just played Olynyk and integrated him last night, and I'd waited to use O'Shea tomorrow. I wouldn't have brought him in also as a new player. That was too much. I would have just played Kelly and added him to the mix, and then the other guy later. I didn't like that they both came in at the same time. I can agree with that part, but you're going a little bit too far by saying Darko needs to check his ego. That's not what it is. He made a coaching calculation that may have been poor. Let's just put it that way. But coaches do that. They're going to make mistakes. Chris is saying at Wayne, I didn't like it, but the team is in experiment mode and winning is a subplot. With Winslow coming to the team, Boucher seems to have stepped out the door. Darko's not a fan of him. I don't think he ever was. Right from the start, Chris was never somebody that he like talked glowingly about. They'd talk about Chris and he'd be like, yeah, he has certain skills. And whenever Chris would have bright spots, Darko wasn't totally forthright with it. It's not that he hates him or anything like that. I just think that he just isn't in his plans. That in some ways, if we're doing a reset from the teams before, he's probably like, well, this is the last guy that needs to go. Siakam, Anunoby went. Well, Chris may be the last one, and it may be in the off season. I don't know. I just don't want a drawn out, kind of confusing, stupid goodbye. I'd like to use him while he's still on the team. In some ways, I'm not cool with him getting DMPs. I really am not. I don't think that he deserves it for time serving what he's done for us. Now, I'm not going to get mad at Darko if he doesn't play him. I'm just going to be, disappointed. But in some ways, Darko's going to do what he's going to do. And I got to trust Darko like I trust Masai and Bobby, that he's doing things with purpose for building the vision that he has for the Raptors. And if the vision does not include Chris Boucher, well, he's not going to be playing. And I don't know if he's not a fan of him. It's just that he's really not in the plans. It's all evident. It's evident. James saying Cavs looking good. They've been winning a lot of games lately. If OG went to the Cavs, they could have went to the finals. That's a weird brain exercise. I don't really do woulda, coulda, shoulda. I just speak in the truth of the reality of the present state. There's a lot of different weird things that could happen in the league that would shake things up completely different. No, OG was going to go to New York no matter what. And that's symbolized by a CAA agent and Leon Rose's son being a CAA agent. And pretty much everybody in CAA is connected to the Knicks at this point. So if you have agency with CAA, it's likely you're going to end up a Knick. And Donovan Mitchell has agency with CAA. And there's some other players around the league that have agency with CAA. So that's the determinant right there. He switched representation to CAA OG, and that was the symbolism that I'm going to the Knicks. So just at some point it's going to happen. The whole time he was on the Raptors, when he was on CAA, he was Mark Man. He was on his way out and going to New York on the down low. And that was even last year, not even just this season. Last season, he was already on CAA. So the writing was on the wall that OG was going to be going to New York all along. There was no other choice, James. That was the only team he was going to go to. And it's because of his agency. Wayne saying, understood, not expecting to win. Lex saying the same thing now. Too many new guys at once. That's all, not expecting to win, but the rotations seem amateurish. Well, I'm going to say this, with so many different variables and different ideas about who he could play, Darko may step in it sometimes with bad rotations. I feel like he's hit and miss with it. I think that every coach has a bad rotation from time to time. There were rotations last year that pulled the very little bit of hair that I got on my head out with Nick Nurse. Just like, what the fuck is this rotation, Nick? So this is just a common thing with any coach. I think that Darko has really brilliant rotations at times also, where I'm just like, wow, that was a really good group and smart team to put out there at that time. In some ways, Darko's in a new place because he has so many different new players that he can put in a rotation any given night. He's got to be really smart about how he sees the needs for that particular game and whose numbers he calls. In some ways, it may be a Jalen McDaniels kind of night. In some ways, it may be a Justice Winslow kind of night all of a sudden. And in some ways, that's him gauging the feel of the game and he may utilize that will help us the best. Now, he's not always going to get that right. People are human. And sometimes he may think a guy's going to do really well. It makes sense with a mismatch, or it makes sense with the whole parameters, but it doesn't come through and they are not successful. So there's a lot that goes into whether rotations are good or not. And it's not always on the coach, but I will agree that rotation in the second quarter was awful. I will say that. It was awful for sure. Good morning to Jill. And morning, Seymour, morning. Let's see. Seymour saying only reason Cavs won last night is because they are gelled. We still are figuring out things, and we'll be fine. Heck, we will be contenders real. So watch out. You watch in my Lex voice. You watch. Yeah, okay. You're doing an impression of me, Seymour. You're trying to get me to do an impression of me, of you doing an impression of me. No, I agree with this. In some ways, it's weird. It's like everybody's like, all right, after the Siakam trade, in that little period of time between the deadline and getting Kelly, I really felt like, yeah, we're going to be bad for a while. But now I'm kind of like, you know what I'm getting now? The vibe from Bobby and Masai is that these dudes are such mavericks and rogues and kind of shit disturbers and rebels. They're like the whole idea of a rebuild. They're like, Bobby, what if we could do a rebuild and not ever have to lose too much? Like all these teams are losers. They get bad and they just sit down there for like 2 or 3 years. Well, how do you get better and retool and rebuild without having to do all that misery? Yeah, let's think about this, Masai. How do we do this? Maybe we can do this. Let's do the impossible. Let's switch from era to era. Let's have a reboot, retool, rebuild, and let's lessen the pain. Let's lessen the bleeding. Let's lessen the bottoming out. Let's just touch the plane on the runway just a second. Taxi maybe down the runway a little bit and then take right back off. I mean, could it be like that? I mean, in some ways, that's what I feel like this rebuild's going to be like, because in some ways, Scotty's not wanting to waste time and lose too much. So in some ways, it's like, look, he's like, I will put me good players around me. I'll learn how to win with anybody. And boom, we're going to go out there and try and win more. That's what they're doing. Jakob's not wasting his career on Toronto to try and lose. He wants to win right now. And all these guys want to win right now. RJ wants to win right now. IQ wants to win right now. Kelly Olynyk, Father Time is stopping for him. No, it's not. He wants to win right now. So it's a weird situation. In some ways, we will not win because of the issues that Seymour just brought up. We are not gelled. We're too new. But we may start winning games in some of them because of talent, because of Scotty's amazing rising up as a player, because of all kinds of different X factors on our team right now. I don't think we're going to be like Detroit. I don't think we're going to be like Philadelphia when they went through all that misery over years and years of losing in the process. No, there's not going to be this kind of a rebuild with us. In some ways, we may have this year be really shitty, the rest of this season still losing, and we come back with a new face, new look, and we come in organized in training camp, and boom, we are actually a above 500 team next year. Seriously, it could be like that. I could see Bobby and Masai kind of scheming. It's like, that's the one thing that's bad about this, Masai, is losing It just sucks. I hate it. Well, can we do this without having to lose too much? I don't know. Let's try. I'm willing to try it, Bobby. Let's try and do it. That's what I'm saying. I wonder about that. I wonder about that. Jill's saying Darko was not trying to win last night. Sorry. No, that's not what it is, Jill. We did not have a very good realistic chance to beat the Cavs last night. I'm going to say that first and foremost, y'all. They're playing at such a high level and they're tuned up. It's like a race car. They've been racing their car around the track against Ferraris and Lamborghinis. And we do have like a regular station wagon right now for our car. No, they're ramped up. They have a top speed that gets to about 200. We probably have a top speed that gets to about 120. How are you supposed to win that race when that other car is primed up and been racing around the course against other race cars, and they're really tough ones like the Celtics and the Clippers and other teams like that, and they've been kicking their butts. And then all of a sudden they're going to pull up the starting line against a station wagon? Because that's who we are right now, Jill. We don't have our shit together. The kids are fighting in the back. Well, it's not they're fighting, they're just playing and they're distracting. We can't drive the car as fast as the other car. Well, we're not going to win. You cannot say Darko was not trying to win last night. That's bullshit. He's trying to continue to exercise the muscle that gets winning on the team. And if it doesn't add up to winning, well, it doesn't add up to winning. The Cavs are a better team. They're in a better place. They have their shit together. They're gelled, as Seymour said. And they're also a team that's been working together for a couple years now. And we are just brand new all together. It's not Darko's not trying to win. The situation and settings are not conducive for the Raptors to have an easy time winning. In some ways, all right, Jill, you want me to paint it out how the Raptors could have won last night? This is how they could have done it. They had to play perfect on defense. Really, really immediately, like, get their shit together with the brand new players and really play like they had been playing together for 2 years. And then, in some ways, we needed the Cavs to miss more. We needed the Cavs to have a bad shooting night. And they were kind of hot last night, to tell you the truth. They were dialed in, and they were making their open threes. So in some ways, for us to win, we would have had to play top-level, perfect defense with new guys that don't know each other, have to beat them on the rebounds, and they would have to have a little bit less shooting luck or good shooting for themselves last night. That's the only way we would have beat them last night. And well, we didn't have the defense, first of all, and they were not missing. So that's it right there. That's nothing to do with Darko not trying to win. These guys are trying to win every night. And honestly, that statement's not fair to our coach, and it feeds to bullshit about him right now. Let's see. Stargate saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. At Lex, I commend you for being so positive about Darko. I, however, unfortunately don't share your sentiments on him now. Coming into the season, I had high hopes for Darko, but now I'm skeptical. Stargate, have you watched the Open Gym episode from Friday yet? That's what I'm going to say. Go watch the Open Gym episode and come back and tell me what your opinion of him is after that. Okay? Seriously. We put good propaganda out about our team in the last couple days, and there's a new Open Gym called Coach that came out on Friday. It's all centered around Darko and what he's doing for our team. Go watch that and understand why he's a damn really good coach. Honestly, he's a really, really good coach for us, and it may change your opinion. Okay, so if you haven't watched it yet, hold your opinion and go watch it, and then come back and see how you feel about him then. Okay, I'll just say that. If you've already seen it and you can talk to me, then we'll talk about that episode, and I'll explain to you why you should change your opinion from that episode. If you've seen it and you do not have the opinion with me still, well, we'll talk about it, and I'll point to some things in that episode that will tell you why you should have a lot of faith in him, and you shouldn't be so skeptical. Yeah, Chris is saying, as a Raptors fan, you can't start cheering for the Sixers now. Laugh out loud. And to be honest, if I was a Milwaukee Bucks player, I'd be really annoyed with Patrick Beverley coming to town. Yeah, I think Lillard's annoyed too. In some ways, it's like, whatever. I don't know. This is a whole mess. The Bucks are a mess. Yeah, I think that most Raptor fans hate the Sixers. So I mean, I guess if you're really a Nick Nurse fan or a Kyle Lowry fan, you'll root for them. But if you're a Raptor fan first and not necessarily a Kyle Lowry fan first, well, you shouldn't be rooting for the Sixers. I'll just say that right now. Seymour said, Stargate, explain, please. What did you want to see him do? Yeah, what is it? What is the guy doing that's so awful and horrible? Just tell me. I want specifics. I don't want people saying, I just don't like him. I just don't think he's a good coach. Tell me real reasons. Tell me like specifics about what he's doing, and we can talk about it. And maybe I can elaborate and kind of paint a picture that tells you, it's like, well, this is why, or something like that. I just want real reasons. I don't want people that are just kind of like, I just don't like him. There's something about him. I just don't like him or something. I don't know. Just tell me. Jill's saying Darko knew that putting brand new players in the game would not be a winning formula, and no Boucher or even Wara. No, and no. He's not like, oh, I'm going to put on all the new guys because I know that'll make us lose. That's not what he did. No, listen, he had the idea to put all those guys together at the second. It was a fail. It wasn't the most smart idea, and we lost the game at that point, honestly. But it is whatever. He made a mistake. Sometimes that kind of shit happens. I just don't like the way you're coming about it. It's a negative Raptor fan kind of bullshit. In some ways, it's not the way Raptor Freak talks. It's basically what it is, Joe. Darko knew that he was shitting the team by doing that. Yeah, fuck that. Fuck that. That's not the narratives we build here, Jill. Darko's not losing on purpose. Darko's not at fault for why we lost last night. That we were overmatched and the Cavaliers beat us. That's just how it is. This is more about the Cavs than the Raptors, why the outcome happened last night. This is more about their excellence and their very high-level team than anything else. It's not about the Raptors. It doesn't always have to be about us, Joe. It's about the Cavaliers are a better team, and the better team won last night. That's as pure and simple as it is. And the Raptors are in a new phase, and that makes sense. Seymour saying, interesting, good point. I don't know what the point is, though. Infamous is saying, salute, freaks. Not mad at this game. They were going against the hottest team in the league. Exactly. Guys were trying to know each other. Very positive outlook. Let's get the next one. Yeah, once again, I told y'all, I'm not watching for the W. I'm watching for the development. I see stuff that Scotty did last night that was absolutely amazing and has me excited for development in the future. I saw stuff that Grady did last night that made me absolutely excited for development in the future. And that's the signs that I want to see. I want to see progress. I want to see these young guys get better and better. And we get better as a team overall. We get into situations in the court as far as winning and losing, and we learn from it. Every single game has a story and some lesson to learn as a player. And Scotty and Grady just need to get games down, outcomes, and learn the different scenarios and situations so that they are smarter and wiser going into the future and more situations and games going on. That's right. Mo's saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. Cavs played with force, defense, etc. Yeah, they did a good job. All right, let me do the 3 stars a game for me. My number 1 star is Scotty. Scotty got his triple-double, and it was amazing, Scotty. So good, man. I'm glad you finished it out. I'm glad Darko left you in to get the final rebound so that you would get it. 24 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block. A +1, the only plus minus on our team last night. So that's something. I like that. There's been games recently where Scotty is the worst plus minus this season. Well, he was the best plus minus last night. In 9 of 15 shooting, 5 of 6 at the free throw line. Yeah, Darko very glowing about Barnes and his decisions with when to shoot and when to pass. Really, really playing at a high level and really making the right decisions about when he should go and when he should look for other people. Scotty, your triple-double is an amazing accomplishment. But once again, I will say this to people that are so on him about how much he scores. You see, he's the leading scorer. He scored the most points for our team, and we lost, and it wasn't close. And in some ways, he didn't score as many points in the other 2 games we just played, and we won. So let's get our priorities straight, Raptors fans. It's not about how much Scotty scores and worrying about that so much. It's about worrying about whether we win. Because much like any team in this league, you can talk to the Bucks fans and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Just because the guy scores the most points, like Giannis could score 50 points and the Bucks still lose, that's a shitty game, is what I'll say right now. So we don't want to get to that point where Scotty's getting 40-point games, but the Raptors lose all the time. And that's the thing we got to understand. Team balance is important, and winning basketball has to do with everybody. And worrying so much about Scotty getting his and scoring so many points is actually detrimental to the team fans that are worried about that so much. My second star of the game is Grady Dick. Grady was fantastic off the bench. 22 minutes, 4 of 8 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, 3 of 3 at the free throw line, 1 assist, minus 22, which is the worst plus minus on the team, but 14 points. I like the confidence in the way he's shooting. And, even though he was out there when we lost the most, it was really because he was out there with that second quarter lineup that was so bad. But I like Grady's 50% shooting. I like the fact that he's shooting so well from 3 in recent games. Yeah, there's just a lot to like about Grady. Now, he could have got more stat stuffing in there than just 1 assist, but we'll see. He's going to do better and better. He is my second star. My third star is Kelly Olynyk. I'm going to go ahead and give Kelly for his debut 4 for 10, 11 points. He was also a very bad plus minus, a minus 19, but he was in that squad in the second quarter also. 4 for 10 from the field, could shoot a little bit better, but not bad. 1 for 2 from 3, made both his free throws, 6 rebounds, including 4 offensive, 3 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. Yeah, Kelly's stat stuffing, hitting the ground, taking a charge, just doing all the gritty, gutsy stuff. Even if we're down by like 20, 25 points, Kelly's still doing all the dirty work just as he always does. He's going to rub off on other guys. So those are my 3 stars of the game: Scotty, Grady, and Kelly. Yeah. I could talk about other guys a little bit. Quickly and Barrett were not good last night. They both added up to 24 points together. They shot 9 of 24 together, 2 of 6 from the 3, 4 of 7 at the free throw line. Yeah. RJ had 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Emmanuel had 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 steal. Both a minus 12. Yeah, just under performing with the scoring, both of them. And it's just too bad. We needed the more of the barbecue trio in effect. We just had 1 B. We had no BB. We had no BBQ. So it was just a B last night. Gary Trent, 2 of 7, 2 of 5 from 3, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 6 points. See, I told y'all, it doesn't matter if Gary's starting or not, y'all. It's not about whether he starts. It's just about on that night, is he shooting his shot or not? It never was about bench or starting with Gary. It really is a night-to-night basis. Is Gary going to be hot Gary or cold Gary? And that's just how you got to go about it, y'all. Y'all can't say that he has to start because it's not the fucking factor. It's just whether he's going to be on or not for that night. He can start every single game, and there's going to be games like last night where he's just not going to hit the shots, and he's going to get like 6 points. And it has nothing to do whether he starts or not. So everybody who says it's just mandatory, Gary needs to start because it'll make him better, you're wrong. He will do just as well off the bench or starting. It depends on whether he's making his shot that night. And that is not dependent on whether he starts or not. I'm so sick of that narrative. Jakob had a little bit of a down game. He's been playing so strong since he returned from his injury, and he finally had kind of a down game. 3 for 7. He was missing. I guess Jared Allen and Evan Mobley were good at disturbing his shot. He reverted to his old free throw form and bricked 2 free throws when he got to the line. 7 rebounds, 1 assist, a minus 14 with only 6 points also. Really anemic scoring for most of the team. Like really, really tough. We had very few guys get the double digits. A lot of guys that didn't do jack shit in this game, honestly. It's too bad. We got Bruce Brown getting 2 points in 20 minutes, 1 of 5 shooting, 2 rebounds. Yeah, garbage, minus 21. Garbage minutes, wasted time with Bruce Brown Jr. running around out there. Maybe Chris Boucher should have ate some of those minutes up, Darko. I don't know. The garbage time guys didn't score at all. Jordan, Jalen, and Jonte and Garrett, all goose eggs. And then Abaji, 3 for 9, 0 for 5 from 3. That's no good. 2 rebounds, 1 turnover, 8 points, a minus 7 in 19 minutes. Yeah, O'Shea could have been way, way better. Overall, the team did not perform well overall. Scotty played very well, and that's about it. I can't even say Grady was super, super good, but he's one of my stars. And even Kelly could have played better, but he's one of my stars. And really, Scotty was the only one who played at a very, very high level last night. The rest of the team did not play well. They really didn't. So, yeah, that's my take on the Raptors box score. Chris is saying in defense of Darko, he has to play new players and lineups to see what happens to inform his decisions in the future. I do think that they re-signed Kelly to a 2-year deal this summer. Oh yeah, they're going to. It's all prearranged. It's like Kelly is this summer's Jakob last year and Thad Young the year before. When we acquired him, it's not like just have for a little bit. It's stupid. Bring him in and then he's just here for a half season and he leaves in the off season. No, they talked to him ahead of time. They arranged it, agree to it ahead of time. It's all understood. The same thing with Thaddeus 2 years ago. The same thing with Jakob last year. Jakob was a free agent in the summer. He could have burned us and signed with their team. No, he made his intention clear. If you trade for me from San Antonio, I will re-sign with you in the summer. And that is the same arrangement we have with Kelly right now, just so y'all know. It's all set up and it's all going to happen. Kelly's saying he wants to retire as a Raptor. He wants to play the rest of his career out as a Raptor. So it's the same thing like Thad Young. When we traded and got Thad Young for a half season, well, we signed him that offseason. We traded and got Jakob last year. We signed him in the offseason. Same fucking thing's going to have with Kelly. It's all set up and ready to happen. So I'm not worried about that at all. Seymour's saying he had to get the new guys in the system, though they both looked good, but it's going to be hard making it all fit together. Growing pains. Yeah, it's going to be growing pains. It's just going to be problems with familiarity and figuring out familiarity. But it's going to get better and better. Just saying, Chris, do it against a team that is not number one. Well, we don't make the schedule. In some ways, it's timing. We had planned to play those guys last night to make their debuts. I don't agree with putting them in at the same time. Let's just put it that way. And also, if I had done it differently, this is how I would have done it. I would have had either RJ or Scotty out there with the new guys when they brought them out. In fact, I probably would have had RJ out there. The ideal lineup should have been Grady, RJ, Kelly. I'm very partial to Chris. I would say Chris just because his familiarity with our team and our system. And Jakob. I wouldn't have put so many new guys all at once. And in some ways, that was a mistake. And y'all don't take one little criticism I have of Darko and expound on it and make it more and more like time 10 and say, oh, I hate Darko because Lex is right. He made a mistake putting out too many new guys in the second quarter last night. Don't do that. That's not why I point this shit out. I'm just pointing this shit out because it's true, but it's not to go at my coach and be derisive or critical of him. I'm only doing it because it's true what happened. And in some ways, like everybody, if you were a coach in the NBA, you'd make mistakes left and right. You wouldn't make enough things right. Honestly, you get fired right away. So he's doing things like 96% right. And maybe 4% he's not doing right. And that's where I'll nitpick a little bit. But it's not a mountain out of a molehill. Just let him have a couple mistakes. There's always going to be some mistakes every single game. You can't be perfect. You could try and master being a coach like Popovich. You're still going to make fucking mistakes from time to time. You're still going to make mistakes. There's no time better than now. And it doesn't matter who you're playing. You don't make decisions because, oh, that's the number one team. You do what you do against who you got on the schedule that night. Maybe you do it a little bit better and a little more watered down is what I'm saying. Let's see. Stargate saying, Seymour, I don't do high-end explanations via internet chat rooms. Maybe if we were in a space sometime where I can vocally express something of this complexity, then yeah, sorry, bro. Well, then I'm not going to take any weight in your opinion on this, Stargate. No, all due respect. Just explain it. This isn't like a Zazu space. This isn't like another place. You can type it out and explain it to us in a way that we will understand what you're saying. If you feel like you really need to say it, I'll give you my damn phone number. You can call me. And you can say it over the air. In some ways, I just don't listen. Give me the criticism. Give me the cliff notes. How about that? You don't have to write the whole novel. Just tell me the basic talking points of why, and I'll get your points and we'll talk about them. That's all I want. Just give me a way to defend my coach if you have such a problem with him. Maybe there's some things I could say real quick that may alleviate some of your concerns. That's all I want. In some ways, I get what you're saying for Zazu spaces or other places, but this is a special place. You know that, Stargate. And you can say it how you want to say it. There's enough chat in there to just get across the basic points. It's not that complex. Come on, man. That's a cop-out in some ways. Just give me the cliff notes. Give me the basics. Give me the basics. You can do that. In some ways, when you say that, it makes me think, well, what is he coming with? He's got to think of it. What is it? Tell me what it is. Tell me what the problem is with Darko. You don't have to get too complex. Just give me the basics. It's that easy. Let's see. Jill saying, Scargate, this is what we do every day. That's right. So let's do it. He knows that. He knows that. Stillman saying, Scotty really impressed me with this post-game interview. He was saying it's not about him, but the team. He was talking like a real leader would. He's matured so much lately. Yeah. He's got the right head on his shoulders. He's bought in. There's nothing to hate about Scott. In fact, I feel disappointed myself for doubting him in certain ways in the last couple of years, as far as the way he looks at the team, the way he may be interacting with people. He's a badass. And I'm so proud of him and the way he's carrying himself in this new era as being who he is at this point. He's ready to carry the mantle. And he's really, really got the right attitudes and the right ways that he looks at this. And it's so, so good. So, so good. Stargate saying that, Jill, I don't understand that comment. She's saying that what you're saying you can't do here is what we do here every day, is what she's saying. That's what she's saying. Yeah. Jill's saying, yes, Scotty explaining why no win. Yeah, he's not that upset about the game last night. He wanted to win, trust me, but he understands this process and he can see a bright future and he can understand the whole vision and he's with it. He shares a vision with Masai Ujiri and Darko, and they're all on the same page. That's really important for a franchise. Often, those three people in franchises, sometimes they don't all have the same vision. Well, these guys all have the same vision right now, and they're all working towards it together. And that makes it stronger and better when they all go together and they have the same ideas about what things are. In some ways, sometimes the GM and the coach don't have the same vision. Some ways, the franchise player and the coach don't have the same vision. We should feel very lucky and have gratitude that our main important people all share the same vision and they're bought on and they're all together going forward on that. In some ways, Scotty buying in and loving Darko and really being that, like, I can tell this is true, should tell Stargate that this is a good coach for us. In some ways, what matters is whether Scotty likes the coach, whether he believes in the coach, whether he thinks the coach is doing things worthwhile that are going to build building blocks towards the success in the future. That's one of the main people that should matter. And if we see Scotty giving the 2 thumbs up, like, I love my coach, things are really good, then nobody as a fan should have a problem with their coach. Seriously. Now, if Scotty showed some signs that he didn't like him, like stuff was going on with Adrian in Milwaukee, well, then there may be some issues. That's a canary in the coal mine that can tell you if there's a problem with the coach. Our franchise player, he loves our coach. And he wants this partnership with our coach to go forward for many years. And that should tell you all you need to know about Coach Darko right there. The Scotty's trusting his NBA future and career with him guiding him. And he really, I honestly can see Scotty eating up the way that Darko's laying challenges and development in front of him. Scotty loves progressing. Scotty likes getting better. Scotty loves NBA lifestyle. Just like he's a 2K player and a build, he is looking at himself that way. And he wants to improve himself over and over again. If he thought that Darko's wasting his time, he'd be mad at him. He'd be like, I don't like this guy. He wouldn't be working. No, he understands. In fact, he's probably like, holy shit, my coach is a badass. You know, you guys got to understand, Darko's not the normal coach. He really, really isn't. Watch the Open Gym. Seriously. If you've not watched the Open Gym, you cannot have an educated opinion on Darko Rajakovic. I'm going to say that right now. Chris is saying Abaji is a real project. Maybe insurance for Gary leaving. Who knows? But he is another rough talent, like Precious in my mind. He's definitely a project. Yeah. I don't know if he's insurance for Gary leaving. I don't know if they're the same type of player. Abaji's not really a 3-point shooter kind of guy like Grady and Gary. He's more like a tough little guard that has a lot of power and strength, and he gets a lot of his offense from driving at the basket. It's about having strength in the air and fighting off contact and finishing is really it looks like what his thing is. That was his one really successful move last night, is he had a little move that went to the basket. He took contact, hung in the air, and he still made the layup. That was the best thing he did offensively yesterday. So he's not really, he's going to be 0 for 5 from 3. Well, he's not going to replace Gary. He's a different look. He's an attacker. In some ways, he's more like RJ than he is like Gary Trent. All right, let's see. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam, and happy Sunday. Despite the loss, there were glimpses of nice action. Looking forward to the team getting more and more together as the trade deadline is finally over. Yeah, gelling more together. Yeah, Scotty is like asked. He's like, now that you know what the team you're going through with this is easier. He said, yeah, this is who we got. For this time, yeah. In some ways, he made it sound like these are the guys that are going to try it out, but some of them may not be in the future. It kind of gave a tell on that. In the offseason, we'll see what happens. But these are who we have for now. We're going to try them out in the time being. And some of them will get invited to further future Raptors times on the team. Some of them will not. That's part of what we're going to do right now. Like all these guys that are coming in, the G League guys coming up, the guys from the trades, Jordan Wara, all these different guys, they're going to get tried out for the rest of the year. And some of them will be decided upon and say, no, they're not going to have a future going forward. So let's not get too attached to all the guys that we have right now. Some of them are not going to make the team for long term. They're just getting tried out right now. Yeah, try it out. Try it out. That's right. Jill's saying, Stargate, you said you won't do a high-level discussion. Lex sits here and does high-level discussions every day. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be that complex. Just give me the cliff notes. Just give me the bulletin points. Just give me the gist of it. You don't have to go in depth. You know that I'm very astute. I can take a very basic comment and I can expound on it. So, yeah, just give me the main reason. How about that? Let's see. Wayne's saying Cavs are the better team and this loss is expected. I agree. Players' efforts were in line with where we are currently. Coach's decision to chuck 4 new guys together very in the game is just a fail. Well, I'll allow them that failure. The players are going to be allowed failure. The new coach has to be allowed failure too. It doesn't define his career. It doesn't define whether he's a good coach or not. Like I've said, coaches are going to make mistakes sometimes. He made a mistake. I'll point it out. He's not above like perfect. I will talk about when Darko makes mistakes, but honestly, everybody makes mistakes in their life. And we got to look at the perception, the percentage of the mistakes, whether they're failing more than they're winning. And I can't say he's failing more than he's winning. You can't look at the win-loss right now and to decide that. In some ways, the most important indicator of whether he's winning or failing right now is the team's playing at a high level, putting out energy and output and fighting no matter what the score. That's a better indicator of whether he's a good coach. Are they down by 30 and they're still getting on the floor chasing after the ball? That is a good indicator of whether he's a good coach. And they are. They are every single time, whether they're up by 20 or they're down by 20, the effort and the getting out there after it is there all the time. And if it isn't, timeout. He's going to set them straight and they'll come back reset with better effort. So those are the things I'm talking about right there. Yeah. Listen, you guys don't get hung up on the loss and don't get hung up on the mistakes by Darko. Seriously, everybody's going to make mistakes. Scotty's going to make mistakes. Grady's going to make mistakes. They're all going to make mistakes, and we have to allow for them. Stargate saying, Jill, I'm well aware of what Lex does. I've been here longer than you. Is Lex typing in a chat or talking? I agree with Jill here, though. I'm just going to say this. I mean, listen, I can type really fast. I don't get what you're saying because I could type everything out really quickly myself, but that's just a skill I have. And you don't have to have that skill. I just want the gist of it. In some ways, I feel like you're dodging the subject, and there's no reason to do that. If you have a gripe with Darko, tell me what it is, and we'll analyze it. And I'll be fair about it. If it's something that I feel like is an issue also, I will side with you a bit, but I'll also try and explain why we shouldn't be hung up on it too much, is probably what I'll say. So Infamous is saying, Bruce Brown has got to go. He just doesn't fit in with this team. Nothing personal against him. Well, there's no point in saying that now. You can't say that now, Infamous. You're just going to be miserable. You're going to be unhappy because he can't go anywhere now. The trade deadline's passed. He's set with us now going forward. We're going to see him for the rest of the year, so get used to him. It is what it is. In some ways, he's a valuable player for his contract, if not for what he does on the court. But you know what? If I had my way, yeah, I'd agree with you guys. I'd rather Bruce Brown hardly play and Chris Boucher take those minutes. Sure. I could get behind that, but I don't know if that's what they want to do because they want to try Bruce Brown out and see if he can be part of our future. They know what Chris does with everybody. In some ways, it's no discovery about what Chris does with everybody. In some ways, they understand Chris has got chemistry with Scotty. In some ways, we understand Chris is going to get in there and fight for rebounds and do what he does and take loopy, crazy rotational threes. We know what he does. We don't know what Bruce Brown's going to do. And that's part of it. We got to play Bruce now. I'm fully with you on this. If we could take Bruce Brown's minutes away from him and put Boucher back out there, I would be happy. But that's not going to help us in what we're trying to do right now. As part of it. Yeah, Blackhawk has got the super soaker. Why you got that gun out? Put the fire out. Just saying she completely agrees with Wayne. Well, we're not getting pitchfork and torches for our coach, y'all. Other places going to do this already, and we don't need to be the place that does that. Let's just put it that way. Snoopy saying, is it hard to wake up and do streams every morning when raps are struggling? I bet during 2019 it was fun on here. Well, I'll have to say this. I didn't do this show during 2019. I had a different show at that time. You can find it in the community tab. I did a game show in the convenience store in Kensington Market. It was hilarious. It was crazy. It was on Instagram too. So it was in a different format and a little bit different. It was just the content I was making at that time was on Instagram, and it was more like shorts and me being goofy with customers at a convenience store. But yeah, I started this channel basically in Scotty's rookie year. So I've been doing this channel for almost 3 years, and it has been difficult at times. It's sometimes very hard to wake up and do the stream when there's really misery and sadness going on. But there's so much joy too. And part of it is I just enjoy like talking to you guys. And I also find that even on the days that are dark, we help each other through it. It can be very therapeutic for us to kind of get together and talk about it. And we all feel better about it afterwards. So there's a lot of good things about it, Snoopy, for sure. 2019 was amazing, but it was a different show, and you can watch it. I'm posting it in the community tab. You can see my 5-year anniversary of that show as the days pass by. We just recently had the Marc Gasol trade 5-year anniversary, and my reaction to the Gasol trade, Jonas Valanciunas getting traded to Memphis, is posted in the community tab. You can watch that. You can see where I was 5 years ago during the championship year. In fact, I have it whole documented. When we get to the end of the year and the 5-year anniversary of our playoff run, you're going to see the streams, or not the streams, the posts that I made during those playoff runs, the reactions to the Orlando series where Kyle Lowry had such a bad game in game 1 and everybody wanted to kill him. And it was really, really bad. The reactions to the Philly series, of course, and Kawhi shot. The reactions to the Milwaukee series in the Eastern Conference Finals. And then, of course, the reaction to the finals against the Warriors. It's all documented. And if y'all want to watch the ride of that 5 years ago with me, check the community tab on this channel. Those clips will be posted on the 5-year anniversary of those dates. So we could ride and relive 5 years ago through my community tab. So check it out. James is saying, I watched the highlights. He had some good drives on Allen. Scotty needs to be aggressive like that every game. No, he owned Jared Allen a couple times last night. It's amazing. Jared Allen is one of the best defenders in this league. He has very long arms, very good timing with shot blocking. And Scotty was fooling him. Scotty was doing little like fakes and then turn around and go around him this way and dunking on him. I love that stuff. Scotty's been garnering really crazy cool things lately. Like when we played Golden State, he posted up Steph Curry like a little baby and abused him in the post. That was fun. And then we see him going up against people like Zion Williamson and the Pelicans, and he's really trying to put force against Zion in the post, whether he's guarding him himself or Zion trying to guard Scotty. It's very interesting how he's getting into these matchups with marquee guys like Kawhi, LeBron, Jason Tatum, Trae Young. You know, he's SGA. He's guarding all the best players on the other side, and it's fun. And it's fun to see the best players try and guard him. And Jared Allen could not contain Scott yesterday, and that was fun. I love seeing him eat up Jared Allen last night. It was awesome. That was a bright spot for sure. Jill saying Scotty triple double. I love it. Blackhawk saying the team infamous. Best that can happen now is Darko minimizes Bruce Brown to 15 to 20 minutes a game. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think Bruce, part of the reason why they play the players the way they play them is salary. Bruce is a $20 million player. So in some ways, to justify him making that much money, you have to play him. This is the pure truth. Sometimes salary determines whether you're a starter or not. Seriously. So in some ways, Bruce being a $20 million player, he's going to get time every single game. Because if the Raptors aren't doing that, well, they're losing money. They're not getting value for that amount in the salary cap. So that's part of the reason why Bruce plays, is because he gets paid so much. Fiercely saying, I'm hosting friends today for the Super Bowl. Good food and a halftime show by Usher. It'll be a nice break, but tomorrow back to business against the Spurs and Wemby. That's right, Fiercey. Yeah, my neighbor was asking me, are you watching the Super Bowl today? I'm like, no, I don't care. I don't care. In some ways, I'll be happy for Grady if the Chiefs win, I guess. But in some ways, I'm rooting for San Francisco because I don't like rooting for the team that's won more recently. The Niners have not won as recent as the Chiefs. Well, I'm going for San Francisco. I have friends that are Niners fans, so I'm rooting for that team, for my friends that are Niners fans right now. Yeah. Jack Armstrong thinks the Chiefs will win. He's begrudgingly said that. He's like going to the game against the Chiefs a couple weeks ago, and Grady shows up. And he's like, I'm coming in the game, and Grady's there. There's Grady. It's like, he was smart. He didn't wear any Chiefs stuff to the Bills stadium. That's funny. Grady wearing the Chiefs gear going into the game last night for his game day fit. Very, very interesting stuff. In fact, the game day fit has little messages on people's shirts when they come in. Kelly Olynyk said, like, I want to build a legacy or something on his shirt. He walked into the building and said, a legacy is yours or something like that. And then Gary Trent came into the building and his shirt said, good times are ahead. That's what his shirt said. That's interesting where he's saying that. Chris Boucher came to the building and his shirt said rage on it. It was a little alien ship shooting laser beams at the the world, the globe. Crazy. Yeah. Jill saying, Super Bowl, I will now order the Scotty Bowl way. You're going to get the Super Bowl way? It's good stuff, Jill. I was trying to explain it to her. She's like, what is the bowl way like? I'm like, well, let's listen. It's not that far off from a Subway salad, Jill. You know how Subway has salads? Well, it's just they put all the stuff they would put on a sandwich just in a bowl with no bread. And that's what the bowl way basically is, except they will add a rice mix in there. They'll heat up some rice and they'll put it in there. So the rice will go in with the toppings you would get on a sandwich. And then you add the meat and the flavoring. Like if you want Southwestern chicken and ranch or something like that, or peppercorn steak and whatever, you get to choose whichever meat. So yeah, it's really simple. It's just Subway, Jill. Just go in there and say, I want bowl way like Scotty. And they'll say, which one? And you just tell them the flavor, the meat, and all that stuff, and you get it. It'll be good. Get your Super Bowl way on Super Bowl way Sunday. Super Bowl way Sunday. Snoopy's saying that I didn't know Winslow was still around. He showed a little of promise with the Heat, but just vanished. Yeah, it's a cautionary tale, the story of Justice Winslow. Justice Winslow played in the NBA for 8 years. And what happened was, he's in Miami, and I've watched Stunted Growth on this. Stunted Growth is a fantastic YouTube channel. I highly recommend, if you do not follow Stunted Growth, watch it. It's a channel about athletes, mostly in the NBA, but he does cover football players and other athletes sometimes. And he talks about why players do not reach their potential, why a player may have their career go sideline, like go bad. And well, he did one on Justice recently. And basically what he did through his research, what he found out was that Justice Winslow, while he was in Miami, stopped taking his career seriously and got too much involved in the nightlife. That he was going to South Beach and he was all about the ladies and getting drunk and being out partying all night. And then he got injured. And the Miami Heat and Spoelstra were like, you're not being serious enough with your career. You're cut. You're gone. And that's a wake-up call for him. He was injured and not on a team. Well, he finally got healthy, and he's been on the 905 this season, just kind of on the last legs of a professional career in the NBA. This is like his last chance. If he doesn't do well, he's out. Well, he got redemption, got a 10-day contract, and got called up to the big team this yesterday, which is fantastic. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting, Snoopy. He's been playing very well on the 905 this year. He's very much a very physical player. Like he bulls his way into the lane, and he does a little bit like what RJ does. He makes very close shots. He tries to make space and carve it out and go towards the basket and make room and get high percentage close shots and muscle them in. And he also hits the three a bit right now. The things I like about him is he's very good defensive as far as smarts and placement and hitting people tough. I've described him in the last couple of days as a mini Charles Oakley, that in some ways he can have that kind of toughness like an Oakley did back in the day, intimidation factor too. So in some ways, that's the kind of stuff I like it. I just wish he was a couple inches taller. That would make his career really a lot more smoother. But I'm very happy for him. In some ways, he got that wake-up call and said, quit fucking around with the nightlife, bro, and get your life straight. You're in the NBA, and that's not just granted. You got to take care of it to keep it. You very much got to take care of it. And, well, he's got more serious in Mississauga, and he's gotten rewarded for it. And that's a good thing. Let's see. Monique is saying 3 stars of the game in the loss, Jakob, Kelly, and Scotty. But let's be real. No one. I only like the third when we tried to ball. But honestly, the game was done in the second. Yeah, I agree with this. You were there in person, Mo. You saw it with your own eyes. I feel like we did a disservice to ourselves in the second quarter. And it was going to be really hard to try and come back from that. I mean, there was some times where we made little surges to try and come back on them in the game, but it really was nothing too close enough. We never really got within double digits, and that's too bad. That is too bad. It is what it is. So what? It is what it is. They beat us every single quarter scoring-wise. They outscored us at least by 2. They outshot us 52% to 40%. They got 5 more field goal attempts. They made 5 more three-pointers than us and shot 5 percentage points higher from 3. We got 10 more free throw attempts, and we shot the same amount as them. Both teams shot shitty-ass free throws. There was one exchange between the two teams where Jakob got the line. He bricked, missed 2 free throws in a row, and then we went down the other end, and Jared Allen got the line, and he bricked 2 free throws in a row. I was like, this is the kind of game we're having. Let's just let the centers go to the line and brick free throws. It's ugly. It's ugly. Yeah, 69% free throw shooting by both teams last night. 47 to 44, the Cavs on the rebounding battle. That is always a good indicator of whether we're going to win or not, and we have not been winning the rebounding battle lately. Hopefully, Kelly Olynyk here, maybe some Muhammad Ugi, some Justice Winslow, a little bit better rebounding coming up for the Raptors, and we can beat the opponent on the rebounding battle. That is an indicator to help us win. We did not get 25 assists. So the passing wasn't as good in this game, especially in that second quarter. They beat us with the, we had 7 steals. They had 5. They had 4 blocks. We had 3. The turnovers were even. The points in the paint were the next really bad stat. 60 points in the paint for them and 46 for us. So they were owning us down low and just kind of beating us up. A much more experienced team that has been together. And they're at a high level in the Eastern Conference. They're second in the Eastern Conference. They have surpassed Milwaukee and New York recently to take the second spot behind Boston. So we got to be realistic in talking about who we were playing last night, y'all. We got to be realistic about it. Cowboys laughing at Jillian. Blackhawks saying, I'm mad, Fiercey. You're hosting friends and didn't invite me. Yeah, wait. Yeah, why can't we come? Oh, because it's over near Ottawa, y'all. Blackhawk, do you live near Ottawa? We got to go out there. We got to see him. Bryce is saying, good morning, Lex, Raptor family. Good morning to you, Bryce Lawson. How's the weather in Kentucky? Jill's saying, glad I made you laugh, Cowboy. There you go. Cowboy's laughing some more. Seymour's saying, Dick needs a Subway bowl. Call it the deep dish. What? Whoa, Seymour. What is going on here? That's very saucy, that's comment there. You think that Dick needs a Subway bowl way and they're going to call it the deep dish? I don't know. I'm half thinking about giving you a dunk, and half of me is like, "Nah, man, come on." Oh man. You know what? Nah, not on this one. If you have one that's kind of borderline, next time you'll get it. Fiercely saying to Darko's defense, he got new pieces. He needs to see how they can deliver and work together with the staff already there. My only concern is Chris not playing. Yeah, I hate it. It's in some ways it's the long goodbye. Is that what we're doing with Chris? I don't want to do this long goodbye with him. In some ways, if it was going to be like this, when maybe y'all should have traded him at the trade deadline. It's going to be like this. I hate this. Ugh. Jillian smiling. Cowboys said that for Fiercey. Sheriff laughing at the sheriff. Blackhawks saying Darko could have tested Kelly and O'Shea in the next game. Focus on making the team stronger with players that are more familiar with your system. Yeah, well, honestly, I would have played Kelly last night for sure. Kelly should have played against the Cavs because that's very helpful against those big guys, and it just makes sense. I maybe not would have played Abaji last night. Is what I would have done. If flip his minutes for Boucher, and boom, we have more help with the rebounding battle, and maybe we win. Partly because Boucher's in there helping with the rebounds. That's a big fight where Chris helps us, Darko. And I don't know if you feel like he's not part of the future and you're not going to waste time on having him around us anymore. Man, I wish Bobby had just traded him this week then in some ways. I don't know. I'm so happy he's still here, but it's going to be the long goodbye. In some ways, it's awkward. In some ways, I wish we had traded him so he could keep playing for somebody. That's the problem. I just want Chris to be able to play to a degree. And if he's just going to collect dust the whole rest of the season, it's going to be sad. And I don't want people to get mad at Darko for this. It may not be his decision. It could be the front officer saying, well, he's not going to be playing. So in some ways, you may not want to play Chris. It could be very well Bobby Webster Masai telling Darko, he's not going to be in the plans for long term. So in some ways, we want to discourage you from playing Chris right now. So anybody who wants to just straight up blame Darko for not playing Chris, you don't know if the directive's coming from the front office. It could very well be, listen, the time that you give to these guys is investment. And in some ways, you investing time in Chris right now, and we know he's not going to be a part of our plans. We're not okay with that, Darko. So you cannot play Chris right now. I speculated about this last year with Thad Young and his bonus about Nick benching him for so much the end of the season last year. Sometimes the front office mandates whether he should play guys or not, and we need to realize that. So instead of just blindly saying, okay, Darko's fault because Chris isn't going to play anymore, you guys may not know that the front office may tell him, is like, look, he's not part of the future. You shouldn't play him. It could be like that too. Let's see. Green with Blackhawk. You guys are agreeing with Blackhawk on this thing? Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with somewhat. I don't think he should have played Abaji last night. He needed to play Olynyk for sure. Let's see. Fiercely saying, I was hoping Kyle would come back, but I see the vision. They're going with the younger crew. I still hope he can come back next year. Yeah, I don't know. He says he's going to retire as a Raptor, but it'll be for one day. He's not going to play for a whole season with us. He'll come back and say, I'm a Raptor and I'm retired, and that's it. And he'll retire as a Raptor. It's not like he's going to play again for us. I don't see it. In fact, it's crazy. They're paying him $2.5 million for the rest of the season. That seems like too much. It seems like too much considering who he is at this point in his career. $2.5 million? Seriously? In ways too. Let's see. Jill saying Thad did eventually play, and a lot then. They still traded him. He's 35, so I'm sure he still wants to work anymore. He's not sure he still wants to work anymore. What? That doesn't make any sense, Jill. First of all, I'm talking about last year. I'm not talking about this year with that. Last year, near the end of the season, Nick Nurse did not play him for the last 30 games of the season. He was on set to get a bonus, a $500,000 bonus, if he made 60 games played last season. Well, I was wondering if Nick did it to Thad because he was mad at him, he didn't like him personally, or the front office asked Nick to do it. And last year, we were speculating whether they're trying to punish Thad by taking away a $500,000 bonus that he was set to get by not playing him. This was a bookkeeping move, the front office being cheap and not wanting to give Thad his bonus for playing that many. Well, they held him out and they didn't let him play. That's what I'm talking about. It has nothing to do with this year. It has to do with the bonus he would have gotten last year. He had played 60 games, and Nick Nurse benched him, DMP'd him for like the last 30 games of the season. He missed that bonus. And everybody was like, what the hell is going on with this? And whose fault is it? Is it the coaches? Is it the front office telling the coach he can't play him because they don't want to pay the $500,000 bonus? That's all last year's stuff that we were talking about, Jill. It's not about this year and how much we played him because of the injuries recently. No, it's last year's stuff I'm talking about. And the last statement, he's 35, so he's not sure he still wants to work anymore. What are you talking about? That young wants to play. His age is not an excuse. It's not like he wants to go home because he's tired. No. In some ways, he's very proud of how he's kept his body. And he would tell you 35 is not old. In fact, 35 is not old. In some ways, the NBA ages people in our minds. It's like they think you act like Thad Young's 70 years old. No, he's 35 for Pete's sake. He's 13 years younger than me. That's insane in some ways, if you really think about it. You really, really think about it. Nameless saying, morning, ladies and gentle germs. Gentle germs. Oh, it's so funny. All right, I'm gonna give you a dunk for that stupid comment because I don't know why. I don't know why you call this gentle germs. It's awesome. It's awesome. I don't know why. All right, nameless. You can get a dunk for gentle germs. All right, let me just mark it real quick and get back on track here. No, 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 no. All right, let's see. Fiercely saying, sorry, Blackhawk, next year. Yeah, sorry. No invite for you, Blackhawk. Sorry. Exclusive Super Bowl party. Fiercely saw Sarah. You're not invited. I'm sorry. Jill's saying Kyle will retire soon. Kelly won't be here long either. Sigh. How do you know? How do you know, Jill? How are you making these assumptions? You don't know that. Kelly Olynyk's 33. And players can play until like they're 37, 38. LeBron's 41. You don't know this. We don't know how long Kelly will be here. He'll be here at least for the rest of this year and next year. Beyond that, I can't tell you for sure. But I know he'll be on the Raptors next year. Kyle will return soon. You don't know that. I said Kyle would retire soon I don't know, maybe 3 years ago. I said, Kyle's going to retire soon. He is not retired. And that wasn't soon when I said that. So saying people are going to retire soon, don't do that. Trust me. You have no idea, especially these old established guys that are known for being grizzled old vets. Kyle Lowry and Kelly Olynyk will find places in the league if people find value in them and they want to still play. They've taken care of their bodies. And honestly, back in the day, it was the late 30s when you were really close to retirement. It wasn't the early 30s. And Kelly Olynyk's 33. Kyle Lowry's older, though, 37. He's probably closer for sure. But you can't say they're going to retire soon. You don't know that, Jill. You do not know that for sure. And I might remind you later. Kyle hasn't retired yet, Jill. Kelly hasn't retired yet. Cowboys saying, real quick, what's your Super Bowl picks? I'm going for the Niners. I'm going for the Niners too. I don't care. I don't have an educated pick on this because I have no idea who's on the teams. I have no idea how good they are. I don't know anything about their profiles, their strengths, their weaknesses. All I'm going to say is just out of preference, I want the Niners to win for nice things for San Francisco and Niners fans and Chiefs fans. In some ways, I feel like they're annoying. I feel like they've had too many good things happening to them. And in some ways, I don't want them to have it. So there you go. And Bryce is all about the Chiefs. He's like, Chiefs, 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 Chiefs. In some ways, I don't care. Let the best team win. That's what I'll say. Chiefs will be swift. Chiefs will be swift on the court. I get that one, Jill. All right, if I'm going to give a dunk to ladies and gentle germs, I can give a dunk to this very bad mom joke by Jillian. You know, if there's dad jokes, there's mom jokes too. And she just said the Chiefs will be swift. Come on, Jill. You get a dunk for corniness. That's pretty corny. All right, let's see. Jillian and Canadian Cowboy. Thumbs up to corniness. Yeah, there you go. Name is saying, although it would have been the most Raptors thing ever if they had won, we all knew this may happen. Laugh out loud. Kelly played so great. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I little bits like, well, they could come back. They're gonna try. I felt like the starting lineup in the fourth was really playing at a high level and really kind of threatening like they could go on that final run to try and come back on the Cavs. But in some ways, they just have too many weapons. They really do. When I look at the Cavs side of the box score, you see a very good balance. You see 7 players in double digits. Nobody got 20 points, which is insane. 18 points, the high score. Jared Allen, 9 and 12 from the field, 18 with 15 rebounds. Evan Mobley got outplayed by Scotty. Scotty looked way better than him for the game, but Evan Mobley was solid still. 17 points, 7 to 13 shooting, 11 rebounds, 3 assists. Then you got Mitchell, who's a threat, didn't really go off last night, didn't really utilize Mitchell as much as they could have. He was really more like being a decoy, not scoring himself and passing to other guys and getting them involved. Same thing with Garland. Those two guys usually get like 20 points each, but they got 11 and 15. So they were really balanced and looking for their other teammates on the outside hitting the threes. Max Strus, very, very good player. Underrated player, even though he looks so unathletic, he has actually really got a nose for the ball. We saw him having some quickness to get to the basket in transition to make sure that he makes shots. And he's a lot more athletic than he gets credit for. Now, on the reverse side, Niang is like the same kind of player, but he is like it's like a slim guy and fat guy. And like Niang looked like he's been eating too much. Like he looks so fat and like out of shape, and it looked really crazy. And I think that's part of the reason why he fouls so much, because he's not totally in shape. He looks like a doughboy. He looks like somebody that you might go play at the YMCA if you went down there and played pickup ball. You'd see Georges Yang down there, guys that have the same body type as him. And you'd be playing against him. But nonetheless, he can shoot the three, even if he looks like a doughboy. 5 of 8, 3 of 5 from 3, 13 points off the bench. Yeah, they had a couple of different guys. Sam Merrill, of course, that's his specialty. He comes in and he gets a pick from Jared Allen, bombs a 3 right away, like a second into coming in the game, and Darko calls a timeout right away. Sam Merrill is a very dangerous shooter, very dangerous. Karis LeVert was annoying last night. Off the bench, 13 points, 6 of 8 shooting. He was very efficient, doing some really good stuff. Okoro was annoying. There were a couple times when Okoro was going at Scotty, the two FSU Seminoles battling each other. He was very annoying in parts of this game too. So, yeah, they just had different guys that stepped up, and they really played well within their system, off of each other, and they found things naturally, and there was a really good balance across the Cavs lineup. Our lineup, we had a lot of dead keys, not making music, and unfortunately, that will not add up to 7 guys in double digits from the other side, and them hitting a high percentage of their threes. Yeah, you ain't going to win. You ain't going to win if it's like that. Nope, it's just how it is. Alley-oop to Jill. Yeah, I gave her a dunk for her mom joke about the Chiefs will be swift. Taylor Swift is awesome. Honestly, I don't like her music. I'm not a Swiftie, but I think she's an amazing person. And I love all the shit disturbing she's doing right now. The fact that so many people are upset with her and the right people are upset with her, she's on my side. She's the kind of person I love when certain people are upset with her. Oh, yeah. What an amazing story. Billionaire woman doing amazing things, having so much power and control, and people hate it. And she's so awesome. It's like so philanthropic, so positive, just putting out all kinds of positive messages and doing positive, good stuff, being a good role model, showing the young Swifties the right way to be as a person. She's an amazing role model. So you go, Taylor Swift. And you get all the hate you're going to get today from idiots, misogynists, women haters. Yeah, you garner all that, feel their hate, and get stronger for it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying right now. That's right. That's right. Seymour saying Mo Gee dunk competition, please. He can't get that quick into it. They announced who's in the dunk competition already. It's too late. It's too late. No Mo Gee. I'm sorry. Blackhawk said, I gotta wait a whole year? A whole year? Fiercey? You gonna make him wait a whole year? What? Well, the Super Bowl is not till next year again. Jill's saying, Lex, you haven't done a game for a bit. I haven't done a game for a bit. What do you mean I haven't done a game for a bit? What do you mean? What game? I went to a game on Friday. We're talking about a game from last night. What do you mean? What? I haven't done a game for a bit. What do you mean? Cowboy saying, what are you cooking? Fiercely. What you cooking? Yeah, what are you making for the party tonight? That's right. Seymour saying, salute all the Rattler Freaks #1 family. I like that, Seymour. Fiercely saying, Canadian Cowboy, I'm going to be petty. Not a football head, but because my daughter's dad loves the Niners, I'm picking the Chiefs just to make it competitive. But Mahomes is solid. There you go, Fiercey. There you go. This is like Scotty. Scotty's like, John French is like, I love the Steelers. The Steelers are so good. I love Jerome Bettis. And their coach is so awesome. Yeah, I like that guy. I forget what his name is, Mike or something. Mike Tomlin. I love the Steelers. Scotty's little boy. He's like, you like the Steelers, older brother? You like the Steelers? Well, I like the Ravens. Yes, Fiercey's like that with her ex. And she's saying, oh, I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna like the Chiefs since he's such a Niners person. There you go. Mahomes is solid. All right. Blackhawks saying, oh, it's okay, Fiercey. Just because you just became the hottest ticket in the world. 1 year wait. The food better be good. They're lining up already. They can't get in for today, but they're already lining up a year from now. That's right. They'll be outside Fiercey's house for 365 days, just like it's the hottest club in the entertainment district downtown in Toronto. Yeah, they're going to be out there with the velvet rope waiting outside Fiercey's house. She'll be going to work every day. And she's like, hey, don't worry. It's only 4 more months. I'll see you then. I know winter sucks. Yeah, it'll be like that. It'll be hilarious. That's like a Kids in the Hall sketch. It's like, oh, the Super Bowl party at Fiercey's house is just so good. You got to be there. Well, you got to line up for the whole entire year. They're sitting out in lawn chairs all 4 seasons of the year, waiting for the Super Bowl party. That'd be hilarious. That's kind of a funny sketch. It's kind of something I studied at Second City is how to write sketches. And that premise is kind of funny right there that we just came up with. Let's see. Chris is saying, I say they show Swift 5 times on TV. Okay, they're taking bets on this, these degenerates. They want to see. They have all kinds of Taylor Swift parlay lines. You could probably find how many times is she going to kiss her boyfriend after the game? How many times will they cut to her and she'll be clapping? Oh, how many times will there be people angry at her? There's all kinds of crazy things you could probably bet on with the Super Bowl, and they have to do with Taylor Swift, which is so weird. So weird. Jill's saying, Cowboy, truthfully, I'm going with the recommendations. That's a good way to do it. Just get the right bowlway. You can't go wrong, Jill. You know how you go wrong with Subway? You go to the wrong Subway. You got to find the locations that are run well. It's just like any franchise restaurant. Some locations are, you don't want to go to that Subway on that corner. No, that's not a good Subway. You got to find the good, healthy Subway that's ran well by a good manager, and that's where you'll get the good bowlway. It's about the location and whether it's a shitty Subway or not. That will determine whether you get good bowlway, Jillian. So I'm just going to say that right now. In some ways, I've told Subway, because I was a sandwich artist, as much as I was premier Pizza Special Forces premier team, I'm also a sub magician. I went to the big leagues, Mr. Sub at the Air Canada Center, and made the subs in the period breaks of the Leaf hockey games when everybody leaves their seats all at once and they all want to be fed all at the same time at the break of the intermission. Yeah, you have to be good at making subs fast when you got like 50 people lining up all at the same time because the game is at break and they all want to get back to their seats. Well, that's when Lex gets these hands going. And I would make those subs so quick. And Stevie Roots, he would be the money man. He'd be like, all right, that's $16 for a cheese sub. Yeah, there you go. Boom, $16. That was the teamwork. But I was the man on the subs. Woo. Yeah, so I would say this. Jill, if I was working for Subway right now, I would be able to tell you where the good Subway locations are because I would want to be quality assurance. Yeah, I'd be like a secret Subway shopper. I go into Subway locations across the GTA and I check them to see if they're good for the qualities and standards a franchise should have to be a Subway sandwich restaurant. Yeah, I've always thought I could do that job very well. It'd be fun to come in there and be a secret shopper who's actually analyzing the franchise on whether it's being run right. I know there's people that do that job, and I'm be very good at it. If they ask me to do it, I might. But then again, I don't like working for corporations at this point. But yeah, quality assurance. You got to find the right franchise for Subway to get the right bowlway, Jill. That's the advice I have for you right there. So if you have multiple Subways in your area, figure out the one that's the best one. Is run right. That's right. Cowboys saying, let's go. Seymour saying, 1 year wait for food. It better be Proctor. If he's going to be sitting out there in the yard, you better bring him a TV. Like bring the cord across the lawn and just let him sit out there and watch Raptor games in your yard as he waits for a Super Bowl party next year. That's right. Country Kong saying, Lex, I'm convinced Darko was doing the T word with his rotations in the first half. Playing the new guys together was flashy, but ineffective and costly. Boucher couldn't play on the second night of a back-to-back. These are all great concerns, JP, and I'm with you. I'm with you on this. I don't think it was the T word. I think he had the best intentions. Maybe he threw them in the deep end and they weren't ready to swim. But maybe he thought that they would have a natural be able to do stuff. Well, it was a miscalculation, and it definitely did hurt the game. But I don't think it was as intended or planned as some of y'all think. I think that he just threw it out there, and that was the result. And, well, we learned something. That's what we did there. So, yeah, ineffective, costly, sure. Those are good words for it. Yeah, and I don't understand why Boucher didn't play last night. I wish he had. I really do. Let's see. Blackhawks laughing. Cowboys laughing. Stargate saying, man, I can't stand both the Cavs fans and the Celtics fans. Sixers fans are annoying too, but are a little more tolerable. But Cavs fans and Celtics fans, no love for them. I'm with you, Stargate, on this. Oh, my gosh. I do the dumpster fire rankings. I could do the toxic fan rankings. And yes, Cavs fans are really like, in some ways, they're all right. Let's look at it this way. Cleveland and Toronto as sports cities have had failure, have had problems over the years. There's a lot of failure in Cleveland sports history. And, the LeBron James championship and the LeBronto years are really the one thing that they can hold on to that makes them feel really good. Well, because it's LeBronto and because the Cleveland team had such good times against the Raptors, DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry years with Dwayne Casey, the Cavs fans feel like they can pick on Raptors Nation a little bit extra. That's part of the reason why they're so douchey towards us. You add in the factor that they're a city that hasn't had a whole lot to celebrate or good things for any of their sports teams. And, well, yeah, they're going to get a little uppity about their success against the Raptors and their one championship with LeBron around that era. So in some ways, they in particular like to lord over us because of the LeBronto era. And that's a big reason why the Cleveland fans are extra annoying to Raptors fans in particular, is that phenomenon. Now, the Celtics fans, they're just annoying in general and a lot of times very racist. Let's just put it that way. Cavs fans are racist too, just so you know. There's a lot of racism in Ohio. It's got a lot of, like, for being a North State, there's a lot of Southern racism in that northern state of Ohio. Let's just put it that way. Let's see. Jill's saying, Country Kong, what we're all saying. Yeah. Okay. You're just repeating what he said. Yeah. I remember what he said. Listen, I don't think that this is important at this point. It's one game. He made a mistake. It's over. So what? There's no repercussions. Nobody should pay for this. There's no like, oh, he needs to pay for this. Is there retribution for Darko playing too many new guys at once in the second quarter? No, there's no retribution. There's no damages paid. No, who cares? He fucked up. He made a mistake. Let's move on. Let's go to the next game. That's how I look at it, y'all. Y'all can pull it apart and get all upset. Darko, why did you do that? Oh, who cares? Let it go. It's one game. Cleveland was probably going to win anyway. That's the mistake. Sure, we can pinpoint that was the mistake. That's where it all unraveled. But there may have been any mistake that could have happened, and we would point to that mistake, and that's where it unraveled. There was going to be some point. In some ways, I want to tell you right now, it was not realistic for us to think we were going to beat Cleveland last night. Seriously, it was not realistic. Yeah, Cowboys saying, MSJ, I'm going on for 8 on Swifty. Think they'll show her 8 times on the TV tonight during the Super Bowl. I think that's low. I think that's low. I think they're going to show her like at least a dozen times, if not close to 20 times on the screen tonight. I'll bet you. I'll bet you. Y'all count and come back and tell me. I won't watch it. I won't care. Let's see. Fiercely saying at Cowboy, light work tonight. Chicken wings. Okay, this is a good menu. I like this. She's got chicken wings, loaded nachos with lots of beef and chicken, mozzarella sticks, Haitian patties, which is beef and herring. Wow, that's a spread. That's a really good Super Bowl spread. I think that it's got the standards, the wings, the nachos, and then it's got her own personal flavoring with Haitian patties. This is amazing. This sounds fantastic, Fiercey. No wonder Seymour's going to stand outside your house for a year to wait to get in. No wonder. It's worth it, Seymour. Good investment of your time. We'll just get somebody to fill in for you back in Alberta at the warehouse, and you just come over and just hang out in Ottawa for a while with Fiercey's house. That'd be cool. Light work. Sounds like a buffet. Okay. Cowboy is building that appetite always with Tada Cleaning Services Incorporated, 647-833-6844. If you want to add to Bradley's appetite by making him work, you can call him. He will come and clean your windows, your area rugs, your ducts. Yeah, he can clean your ducts better than those people calling you. And he will restore things like water damage, mold damage, damage repairs, painting damage, plastering damage, flooring damage, handyman damage from handymen that were there before that did a shitty job. He'll come and fix it. Tada Services, 647-833-6844. Come and pay him to do a job so he can buy more food to feed his appetite. That's right. That's right. Light work. Light work. It's not light work, is what he's saying. Wait, Haitians have patties. What? What? Let's see. Bryce is saying, I've seen a CountryCon comment. I have seen a CountryCon comment this year at all. I have not seen a CountryCon comment. What are you talking about? We see CountryCon all the time. That's my dude, CountryCon. Yeah, he's beating my ass. I think he's going to beat me today. He's got a lead on me. We only have 2 players each playing today. And you know what he did? He snaked the guy I was going to get this morning at 6 a.m. this morning. JP, you are so good. No wonder you're undefeated. I was like, all right, I tried to get him last night. It's a player, I forget who it is. He's playing in the game today, but he just moved, and he's really going to be playing and he's going to get good points tonight because he's been traded and he's going to be on a new team and he's got a new opportunity, so he's going to get scored more. He went and stole him when I wanted to get him. It's Wiggins. It's Aaron Wiggins of the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's played against us recently. He played very well. I was making fun of him because he's the other A. Wiggins, not Andrew. And I wanted to pick him up this morning. I had intended to get him last night. I went to try and get him last night. Of course, I couldn't do it because that was still last night. He got up at 6 this morning and beat me to it. I was trying to do it right before the stream. I was like, where is he? Where is he? And then I go look in the waiver wire transaction log, and I see that Country Kong had picked up Aaron Wiggins this morning at 6 a.m. Those are the kind of moves that make you undefeated. Those are the kind of moves that win you a fantasy basketball championship. Yeah, very impressed, Country Kong, beating me to the waiver wire this morning to get Aaron Wiggins. I had to get Bismack instead. So I went and got Bismack Biyombo. I think that's who I got. Yeah, because they're playing today. And I want to see if he gets something going for Oklahoma City today since he joined them. He may not even play. It may be a stupid move by me. Either way, you got the lead and you got Aaron Wiggins. So you're probably going to win today, JP. You're probably going to win today. I can see that. Let's see. Seymour saying, I thought it was just us yardies that like the patties. You know, in some ways, the word patty is just it's just a word, but a lot of ways there's like kinds of patties for all different kinds of cultures. You know, a crepe in a way is like a patty. It's just like a flaky crust around something with something in the middle. You know, in some ways you could say a pierogi is a form of a patty of some sort with a potato kind of flaky around an inner thing. Anything that has something hot in the middle with like a breading or a flaky crust around it, to me is kind of like a patty. So it's just different words for different cultural kind of things in other places is what I was thinking. You know, a pierogi is a related family member to a patty in some sort of way, if you think about it. Yeah. Let's see. Jill saying beef and herring. That makes me start thinking northern Europe, as far as Scandinavia, because we're all about the herring up there. My dad will eat some herring, and I'll be like, "You're gross, bro. I can't eat that, man. That is the fish of the fish, right there, herring. Oh yeah, yeah. I'll eat anchovies, but I'm not big on the herring. But yeah, beef and herring, that's quite the mix. That's quite the mix. Blackhawk saying at Fiercely Light Work, that's a full course meal. I'm gonna bring my minions. Look, now that we know that this Super Bowl party is going down at Fiercely Salseros, people come crashing the party. Coming down there. Neil's coming with the minions. Look out. The minions. That makes me think of the little yellow guys. Let's see. Jill's saying Swift will be shown the entire show. Yeah, they won't. They'll probably do something weird. Like they'll have like a different cam. They'll have like the game cam, and then they'll have just watching Taylor Swift cam. Like they do the Puppy Bowl on like Discovery Channel. They're gonna have like the Puppy Bowl during halftime. It's like people who don't want to watch the football, but they love cute animals. They'll watch the Puppy Bowl with the kitty halftime show. Well, maybe they'll do the Taylor Swift Bowl, and they'll just have a standing camera on her, like a trail camera that you just watch wildlife walk around at night. They'll just put the camera on her, and you can watch the Super Bowl just watching her. That's for the Swiftie fans. Swiftie fans, you want to watch the Super Bowl this year? Boom, there's your Taylor Swift camera. You just watch her the whole game. You won't even see a snap. No, you won't. You won't see nothing on the field. You'll just see her in the press box looking pretty and smiling and cheering on her man. That's all you want. You got it. You got it, Swifties. That's right. Special Taylor Swift cam. Just for you. Just for you. Just for you. All right, let me see. All right, I lost my place. I need to find it again. So bear with me. Bear with me. I like that Taylor Swift cam. That was a good idea. Very, very good idea. I think that if they're smart, they'll get this done right away today. Put that Taylor Swift cam on there. You may have to get all your advertising revenue from that, from the Swifties. We know they're a powerful financial force. They very much are, those Swifties. Swifties. Yeah. All right. Let me see. Where the fuck am I? I really lost my place here. Holy crap. All right, y'all. Definitely give me a cutoff, and we will try and finish up around noon still, even though I'm way behind. Way, 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 way behind. And I do want to talk about everything we're talking about today. Where's the Taylor Swift comment? Come on, damn it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, I think I'm getting close. Okay, here it is. Fiercely saying at Seymour, yes, we do. Filling can be either ground beef, spicy herring, cod, turkey, chicken, or veggies only. Real tasty and flaky. Yeah, flaky in the right way. Don't be flaky about coming to the party. Be flaky like the patties when you get there. That's right. You got to try one. That's right. Jill saying, Fiercely, is it more like an empanada then? My folks are from Belize, so I recognize some of those other fillings. That's another thing that's in the family of the patty, the empanada. Exactly. Exactly. Stargate saying, I love Kelly. He is a dirty motherfucker. I love it. So glad he's on our team. Laugh out loud. That's fun. I love that he really is happy to be on the Raptors, and he's pinching himself. Like he said, he got chills when they announced his name and he came to the game last night. It's a full circle, weird kind of thing. Like when he's a kid, he dreamed this. And in some ways, that kind of bonus with him and RJ, it cannot be understated what it means to these guys. In some ways, I'm ready to see Kelly bust his ass extra for the Toronto Raptors in a way that he did not for previous NBA teams that he played for. I'm telling you, in some ways, I can see it. I can see it. Dirty motherfucker, Kelly Olynyk. I like you, man. You dirty motherfucker. CountryCon saying, Lex, for O'Shea. It's O'Shea, not O'Shea. Yeah, it's not O'Shea Brachette. It's O'Shea. It's going to take me a little bit to get this. I might just call him Och, because that's what they're calling him. Och. Speaking of O'Shea, he shot the ball rough, but I like the defense on Mitchell. He had a nice drive. Grady did that layup when his Kansas buddy was on the floor. Yeah, Grady's confidence is going up. I like that. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't impressed with him. In some ways, I don't like that position guard. Like, I don't like a strong little guard that's 6'4". In some ways, this is the funny thing. Scotty wishes he was that. I'm like, Scott, why do you want to be a Russell Westbrook build of a player. Like when he built his 2K player that year, remember Country Kong, his favorite player, his build was a 6'4" guard like Russell Westbrook. And in some ways, it's like it told me a lot about Scotty and what he values in an NBA player. And he wanted to be like an undersized athletic guard that dunks it and not necessarily a good shooter. That's the player that Oach is to me. He's that kind of player. And in some ways, I don't like those kind of players. In some ways, I have anti things against him already because of his type of body and he's out of position. He's in between. He's one of these in between guys like Juan Dixon, where he's like, he's not really a point guard, but he's not really a shooting guard. He's somewhere right in between. In some ways, that annoys me. He has to prove to me what he does and what his role is and what his skill bag is, and I'll like him more. But right now, he did not make a good first impression on me. And in some ways, I don't like the player profile of him. I don't like those kind of players. And it's a similar thing with Bruce Brown. He's undersized. They're both 6'4", 6'5" guys, and I don't like that. I'd rather you be like 6'6", or even sometimes I want you to be shorter, even though that doesn't make any sense. But if you're a point guard, you can be shorter. But in some ways, when you're a shooting guard and you're 6'4", that may have worked when Joe Dumars was in the league. But right now, that's really not a good thing to be. That's a weakness. And that's why I'm not so high on him. He's going to have to prove a lot to win me over. Let's just put it that way. Oach is not necessarily got my good graces right now. He's got to prove to win me over, is what I'm saying. Fiercely saying, there is a Haitian community in Toronto. However, not sure where you can buy the patties. Oh, there's every community in this city for sure. I'll bet you money you can get those Haitian patties in Kensington Market. I'll bet you money. In fact, I might know which restaurant you could probably buy it in. You might want to check the patty place that's over on Baldwin, closer to Spadina. There's a Jamaican food restaurant around there. They probably have them. They could, maybe. Seymour saying, Blackhawk, make sure the minions don't run off with all the food. That's right. You keep those little yellow minions in line. Drew, are you that dude? Are you the guy? Yeah, I don't know. Blackhawk saying, I ain't going to lie. I've eaten all beef, chicken, and veggie patties, but never herring. However, I've never eaten alligator either, so no big deal. I have. I love alligator. Oh, my gosh. Alligator's so good, man. You get buffalo to alligator. It's like buffalo chicken, except it's not on a bone. You like eat the flesh and eat it, and it's buffalo sauce. Oh my gosh, that's the stuff, Blackhawk. Of course, I lived in Florida. That's why I've eaten alligator. Cowboy saying, I think a bad G will be just fine next game. He will show up and drop some of those threes. I hope so. He's got to win me over. In some ways, we'll see the progress he has with winning Lex over, because he's not winning me over. In some ways, I'm not totally thrilled with him being on our team right now. I like the ideas of him being friends with Grady. I like some of the stuff, but he needs to show me. He needs to show me. I need to see success. He didn't get off the right foot on the first night of being a Raptor, in my opinion. Jill saying, Country Kong, tried telling him the pronunciation. Good luck. Maybe you can help instead. You know what's going to get me the pronunciation right is hearing Matt do it over and over again in the game. That's how I learn this kind of stuff the best. Oshai, Och, Abaji. I'm not doing a horrible job, y'all. If I'm not perfect with my pronunciations, come on, y'all. I do pretty good considering how many different crazy names we have to say all the time on here. And, in some ways, come on, give me a little leeway here. Give me and Darko both a little leeway for mistakes, please. How about that? Everybody got to be perfect in y'all's world? Come on now. O'Shea Abaji. If that wasn't perfect, I don't care. I'm trying, and I'll get better as I hear it more and more. I will. Let's see. Fiercely saying, I'm cleaning the house while listening to the stream, fam. Let's stay positive, patience, and trust the journey. We're all the way up. That's right. Exactly, Fiercely. Exactly. She got to get that party ready for everybody to come over and crash it. So, yeah, y'all let's have patience, like she's saying. Blackhawk saying, hey, my minions are full-grown adults now, but I still tell them when we go out, eat your belly full. When we get home, there will be no cooking that night. Minions. What a weird word. Cowboy saying all the way up. Let's go. All the way up. That's right. Jill saying alligator likely tastes like chicken. Frog's leg tastes like chicken. Yeah, it does taste like chicken. It's a meat that's a little bit more. You got to chew a little bit more. It can be a little bit more like it's not as easy to cut through with your teeth. You got a little bit more chewing. In some ways, if you think about, I don't know, I'm trying to describe this. It's like kind of in between chicken and crab, or not crab. What is like a fish or octopus? It's kind of in between chicken and octopus. I think that's the right one. Calamari. It's like if you want to understand what the consistency or what alligator is like, it's in between chicken and calamari. It tastes like chicken, but it can be a little chewy and spongy like a calamari. I just figured it out. That's exactly what it is like right there. And Seymour's like, nope, 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 nope. I'm good. I'm good. Ain't having no alligator. He's more likely to eat me than I'm going to eat him. That's what Seymour's saying. Julia's saying, OG got that agent back in July, so he was gone. I don't even know if he got it in July. I thought he got it during the season last year. I think he got it during the season. Seymour's saying, I will slice with my Alberta steaks. You'll stick with your Alberta steaks. There you go. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. He's not going to be sitting out there then. He's not going to be camped out. He's going to wait. He's going to have his steaks back in Alberta. Blackhawk saying, whoa, Jillian. Frog tastes like chicken. Damn, I haven't done that either. I'm a virgin. Yeah, I can't tell you on that one myself. I think I've had frog legs, but I forgot what they were tasted like because it was a long, long time ago. Yeah. In some ways, I'm not as daring as this one. Is it weirder that I would not want to eat frogs, but I will eat alligator? Is that weird, y'all? That I'll be like, yeah, I'll eat the hell out of alligators. But nah, I'm not really into the little frog. Some of it is the beef. Like the alligator's got meat on it. The frog is like, what? You're going to make me eat this little bony ass little frog leg for that little bit of meat? The risk reward for eating something like this is kind of gross. I'm sorry, I'm not bought in. Now, if you could feed me with a good alligator steak with some good beefy meat, yeah, that's a little bit better than the little puny little shit you get off of frog legs. I'm like, why are we wasting our time with this? Is what I would say on that. I think that's why I would eat the alligator over the frog, is what I just said. Yeah, that's interesting. Cowboy saying Alberta's fine. AAA beef. That's right. This is an Albertan with Alberta attitude of Alberta beef. That's right. Country Kong saying, I'm so glad we called up Justice Winslow and Mogi. Watching the 905 since we traded OG, I felt Justice was someone we could use on the Raptors, given his experience, and Mogi is a big we could use. I have to admit, I was wrong. When I said I don't see Justice Winslow being on the Raptors. Well, I'm going to eat wrong. But I did say I can see Mohamedou Gueye being on the Raptors by the end of the year, and I was right on that one. And I predicted that one last summer during Summer League. I pinpointed, I've done this 2 years in a row in Summer League. I pinpointed the one guy on the Summer League roster that's going to be on the Raptors roster by the end of the year. And the year before was Jeff Dowtin Jr. I was like, Jeff Dowtin Jr. is the best player in Summer League. He needs to be on the Raptors. And boom, they did. Boom, boom. They did everything. Well, last year was Gueye. I was like, this guy is going to be the guy this year that's going to rise up. And well, boom. Now he's got a 10-day. He's a regular Raptor. And my prophecy has been fulfilled. But I was wrong about Winslow. And I have to admit that. Yeah. Let's see. Fiercely saying, honestly, I sense Darko put the emphasis on Scotty when he first came. In hindsight, he would not put forward OG, Pascal, or Chris in discussions or pressers, sending positive vibes to Chris. Yeah. I mean, he understood the direction of who he's going to be working with. And in some ways, that relationship and building things with Scotty was more important and vital to things because he understands the way things are moving with our franchise. That all makes sense. Seymour saying, Cowboy, it's so good with honey glazed pineapples. What are you talking about? Alligator or frog's legs? Maybe you're talking about herring patties. Herring patties with honey glazed pineapples? Or are you talking about the Alberta steak? It sounds like you're talking about that Alberta steak. You talking about pizza? Jillian saying, I believe I visited the South and ate that food. You brought up alligator and reminded me. Yeah, I mean, you can get it in certain restaurants in Tallahassee. And like I said, I had a ritual every college football season. The Seminoles against the Florida Gators. We hate the Gators in Tallahassee. Florida State, Scotty Barnes. Let's go, Florida State. And a ritual for good luck every season, I would eat buffaloed alligator in honor of let's kick the hell out of the University of Florida Gators, Florida State Seminoles. That's why I was eating it. It was a ritual. It was symbolic of the Seminole eating the gator in the college football rivalry of the Florida versus Florida State rivalry. That's why I was doing it. Country Kong's getting agreement from Cowboy. Yes, sir, Sheriff. Blackhawk saying, here's to the memory, Jillian. You are an adventurer. That's cool. Cowboy saying Winslow is a dog. Yeah. James is saying Winslow can play defense and can handle the ball. He's still only 27. I love the experience. In some ways, it's like, look, we are rebuilding. We're new, but we got these vets all around all of a sudden, like Kelly Olynyk and Justice Winslow now. In fact, they may have played together in Miami. I'm pretty sure they did. So in some ways, there's a bonus of like old teammate work between Kelly and Justice from when they were both on the Miami Heat together. I'm pretty sure they were there at the same time. I'm pretty sure they know each other already. That would make sense. Country Kong saying one of the biggest bright spots of this year has been our use of the 905. Man, talk about rewarding hard work. You absolutely love to see it. It reminds me of the time when we built the bench mob. I would not agree with you until yesterday. Seriously. I would say that we've been wasting our time with the 905 this whole entire season until this happened yesterday. That Bobby and say, look, we're going to bring them up. We're going to put them on 10 days. Now, let's get realistic about this. This doesn't mean they're going to be on the team for the rest of the year. This means they're getting a 10-day tryout to maybe get another 10-day. And if that one goes good, maybe they get a third 10-day or they get signed for the rest of the season. But there's no guarantees. In some ways, Justice and Mo got to do well to earn the next 10-day contract. If they don't, they get shuffled out, and maybe we bring some new name in altogether to fill those spots. That's part of the flexibility of this. The 10-day contract is exactly what it sounds like. It's only 10 days guaranteed. So take that shot and run with it. When you get that chance to go in the game, Justice and Mohamedou, you need to take that shot and run with it because 10 days is what you got for the tryout. If you do well, maybe you get a second 10-day. If you do well, maybe you get that full rest of the year contract filled out. But there's no guarantees. And the flexibility of the 10 days for those guys is it's temporary, y'all. If they don't work out, they may bring in totally different people after those 10 days, just so you know. So let's not get all, it's just for sure Justice Winslow is going forward with us. There's a lot that can happen still. And y'all need to understand all the different outcomes. It could be he comes up, he doesn't do well, and he doesn't get another 10-day. He's back to 905, and that's it. So be ready for everything, just in case. Just be ready for everything. James is saying, I think Winslow is better defender than O'Shea. I think you're right, James. I think that's a very astute comment. I think you're exactly right. I think that Justice has the experience. He has the strength. And he's honestly been maybe the most important defender on the 905 this whole year. Everybody else sucks at defense in Mississauga. He's the only one who understands how to put up a roadblock for anybody going towards the basket, whether it's just physicality or just getting in the way of in spacing. And you're exactly right. I would say that you're exactly right. Winslow's a better defender than Agbaji, for sure. He's probably a better defender than quite a few of the Raptors on the main roster right now. Jill's saying, Dad had a Pinto station wagon, Lex. Memories. That's great. I'm glad I'm touching off on the memories for Jill eating alligator in Florida, riding around in the Pinto station wagon with Dad. These are great memories, Jill. Why are you angry? Who's angry? I don't know. I get angry defending my team. I get angry defending Darko. I get angry defending Masai. I get angry defending Scotty. Angry defending Fred. Yeah, I get angry when I have to defend my team, when I have to defend people like Dennis Schroeder. I get angry when people are unnecessarily putting them down, and that's why I get angry. That's right. Seymour saying that layup by Grady was nasty. I give it a 10 for difficulty. I think he's had harder ones that he's done this season already. That one wasn't as hard as some of the other ones he's done. He kind of did one through contact with people right up on him trying to block it, but it wasn't bad. It's still extremely athletic. And you love to see him rolling on the ground afterwards because it really shows he put his full effort into it when he wipes out and rolls on the ground afterwards. It was awesome and so good for the home crowd. In some ways, Grady's playing better in Toronto on our home court, and I want to see him do more on the road. In some ways, we need to see him dial in with his 3-point shot and be money on other people's courts more. In some ways, the friendly confines of the Raptors arena, he'll shoot better here in some ways. We need to see him get that kind of stuff going on the road, is what I'm saying. Yeah. Cowboys saying, I believe O'Shea, Abaji has a higher ceiling than Winslow, but time will tell. That may be true also. James and Cowboy can both be right on this. I think that may be true. That could be true. I don't know. There's nothing guaranteed with him. Masai sees things with him. He believes in him. Well, I'm going to trust in Masai, and we'll see what we get out of him. Kareem's saying this summer, I'm going to need Quickly and Pirtle to train like Apollo Creed and Rocky Balboa. The dynamic is there. They just need to become one. Rest in peace, Carl Weathers. There you go. All right. Yeah, I didn't mention that. Yeah, it's sad to hear a great actor like Carl Weathers has passed recently. Apollo Creed. So many other great movies he's been in, like Predator and different stuff he's done. Happy Gilmore. A lot of good movies that Carl Weathers was in. He's an icon. In some ways, he's a very influential actor, an important black actor. So, yeah, I like Carl Weathers a lot, and I'm glad you brought him up. So I'm going to give you a dunk. In some ways there was no reason to bring him up until just you brought him up, and I'm glad you did, because I didn't want to overlook the passing of Carl Weathers, and I'm glad you did. You know what? The communication and the partnership of Quickly and Pirtle is very interesting. In fact, I can tell right away these guys started working together right away. And they're very intense with working and finding out about things. In fact, Pirtle said early on that him and Emmanuel have had a lot of discussions about their preferences and how they like to get the ball past to each other, and the spots that they like to be in and stuff. So there's a lot of very strong communication. There's a very strong effort by both of those guys to find each other connection and natural chemistry and synergy. And we've seen results of it since Quickly showed up on our team. Well, I've seen there's a natural chemistry that can be derived between Jakob Poeltl and Emmanuel Quickly, and I think you're right. I think that we need to to explore the possibilities of that partnership further in the time to come with these guys on our team, for sure. I'm with you on that. Wayne's saying we believe in Darko. We love Darko. As Raptor freaks, we know our assets are yet to get good to gel, but good rotations are also good development too. I will give Darko a pass on his mistake last night. He's human. There you go, Wayne. I appreciate that. I just feel like in some ways we know the negative, toxic side of our fan nation is going to pull everything apart, overreact, bounce that, and really make it a bigger deal than it needs to be. In some ways, I'll counterbalance it with saying, yeah, I'll recognize this was a problem and it was a mistake, but in some ways, I don't want him to get nailed for it. It's kind of like, this is a little thing. And some people are going to take it like it's such a huge thing that they want him to get fired. That's ridiculous. That's crazy. That's what we're dealing with. And that's why I'll be very, very defensive and protective. That's why I will, because I know there's forces out there that are doing the opposite of what I'm doing. Seymour's saying all the way up. He's got the graph to prove it. You got statistical evidence, my man. I see that project you put in on your project this week. I'm glad you put in the overtime this weekend to finish your diagram. Thank you, Seymour. It looks good. The numbers look good. They're all on the upswing. Okay, good quarterly report, my man. Yeah, all right. We're all in the black. Let's go. Let's see. Jill saying, Cowboy, what do you mean? Please, a bad G has a higher ceiling, but with Winslow, time will tell. He's spelling out his last name. He's not saying a bad G, like there's a bad G, like a bad gangster. No, he's talking about O'Shea. A bad G has a higher ceiling. That's what he means. I know that may be a little confusing because he's pronouncing the name out as a bad G. Cowboy saying, I like O'Shea. He's going to be great for us, I believe. I want you to be right. I'm only being pessimistic because of the first impression. That's all. I'm just being honest. My first impression with him, I didn't necessarily like it. Jill saying, Lex, I didn't say I didn't like Darko. I didn't say he's trying to make us lose. I'm saying it wasn't a winning choice. I'm not a negative Raptor fan. It's just like I'm really like, all right, this is in the chat. I'm reading exactly how you write it. And in some ways, I don't get full context from inflection. In some ways, that's always the case with texting and different things. You can have miscommunication. So I'm reading what you say verbatim. And if the word says, like, I forget what you said early exactly. I think you said that the coach made a huge mistake and cost us the game and we lost because of him, is what you said. And that's what I was correcting. You can't just say that. We can't say that we exactly lost the game totally because of the second quarter rotations. It contributed, but it was not the sole reason why we lost last night. In fact, once again, I will say the reason why we lost last night is not us. It's Cleveland is the reason why we lost last night. We got to give them more credit for being a very good team and running at a very high level right now. That's what it should be. It's not about our deficiencies. It's not about us sucking. It's not about our mistakes. In this case, for the game last night, we need to say that Cleveland was a way better team at a higher level, and they're just at that place. And that's just how it is. That is the whole reason why we lost. We got to give credit to a good team for beating us. That is why. It's not about our mistakes or us fucking up. It's we were in some ways outmatched, and they're a very good team is what I would say. Yeah. Let's see. Wayne's saying if we had a better press, the rotation question would have been asked, and we wouldn't have his rationale for his decision. You mean like after the game, the press had asked him? I think they kind of asked him a little bit about the second quarter rotation and how it didn't work. I mean, in some ways, it doesn't need to be asked. We can just see it and kind of like, what are you going to say? Oh, how do you feel about that second quarter rotation? It's like, yeah, maybe I made some mistakes there, and I shouldn't have played them all at the same time. That may be what he would have said. But in some ways, what's the point? We can all see it. It's not like we need to spell it out. We can just say, yeah, he made a mistake by playing too many new guys at once. There was totally disorganization. We stagnated on our offense for too long, didn't score enough points in the second quarter. And that's when they separated the lead and got a very, very big advantage. And that's just what it is. I mean, how much more do we need to really explain it? I mean, we can see it. Stargate saying, Lex, that I agree with. Bobby Messiah shit disturbers and scheming against the league. I suspect this offseason they're going to do something that'll middle finger the league. I can smell it. Yeah, I mean, seriously, they're rogues. They're rebels. In some ways, they understand the shit's stacking against them, so they have to be very inventive and creative. I think that the Kawhi move was very much the epitome of that. That out of the blue, he did something so monumental and huge, it got us a championship. And that's the kind of home runs that he's looking to make. Like I said before, the finishing move for our front office is a Kawhi-like move. It's like in a video game of a character that fights has a finishing move. Well, that's our finishing move, is making a move like that. And they keep making overtures like they're looking for the next chance to do a Kawhi-like move somehow, and they want to keep themselves in a position of flexibility to jump on it. And I love it. I love it. I think you're exactly right, Stargate, and I'm all about it too. I love that attitude about them. We're going to be in a bad place. Well, we got to think out of the box. In some ways, we got to bend the rules in our favor how we can legally. And if these guys are doing things a little bit different, little unorthodox compared to the rest of the league, everybody's like, what the hell is up with Toronto's front office? Well, that's good. That is good. And that's part of the why, what Stargate is saying. Yeah, Jill's agreeing with Wayne. And Cowboys saying, bring on the Spurs. Let's grow, Raptors. Tomorrow, I have to preview the Raptors versus the Spurs and Victor Wembanyama. All the latest lineup news, the referee report, the marquee main event matchup, all the fun stuff for your preview tomorrow morning, 9:30. I'll be back. Let's see. Nameless saying 100% the Raptors can be above 500 next season. Don't forget our season got derailed early with injuries to key players like Koloko that set the tone. We also had a hit job on us. Seriously. This season was a very concerted effort to absolutely destroy the Toronto Raptors franchise championship people. They've been trying to get us down and out. And you know, the whole symbol of us waving the white flag on Siakam and Anunoby being on our team had to be figured out. And in some ways, that was part of the whitewash of this year, is the transition away from our old regime to our new regime. And it's just a difficult time. And it's not smooth where it can be winning. But next year, yeah, I think we can be above 500. We get in the right place. Now, if the refs and the schedule aren't out to get us next year because they see us already as weakened in a bad place, maybe they won't stack the schedule so hard against us in the very first month or two of the season with all the fucking crazy ass top level teams and back to backs and stupid ass schedule that we had. It was very unfair and really, really hard for Darko to get on the right foot right away. And things unraveled partly because of that. If we had an easier schedule at the beginning of the season instead of the easy schedule we're going to get for the rest of the season now, we may have gotten off to a better start and we may have kept some of our players that we traded this year because of that. The in-season tournament added a whole other dimension of games in the beginning of the season that the NBA cared about. So there was more manipulation with referees in the beginning of the season than ever because of the IST. The IST made refs care about outcomes. So they railroaded us. And there's a reason why we're 0-11 against the Atlantic Division this season, because they wanted that to happen. They wanted to bury us at the bottom of the Atlantic Division as far as we could, be below Brooklyn Nets, and be not relevant in this league. They were sick of us having relevancy, even though they thought we were done and dead. We still came up and we'd have relevancy still. Well, they want to kill our relevancy, and they did this year, but not for long. We need to come back up and be relevant again as soon as next year. And people will understand that. But yeah, that's a whole big part of it. They really fucked us up this year. The schedule, the IST was not helpful. And there were very specific ref hit jobs and important Atlantic Division matchups early in the season right away. Nick Nurse got easy chances to beat us up when we were confused and messed up at the beginning of the season right away. We saw the Sixers twice within the first week of the season. That was all by design. All by design. And both games on the second night of a back-to-back, by the way. Both games. All right, let's see. Infamous is saying, I believe that Darko is throwing the new guys out there to get them up to speed quickly. Darko mentioning he will not be waiting to the end of the season to develop players. Yeah. Well, that's the goal right now, is to develop Grady, develop Scotty to higher and higher levels, to check out these new guys and give them tryouts. Yeah. And he's got to put him out there at some time. Maybe he shouldn't have thrown all of them at the same time, though. Jill's saying, yes, Infamous. We said this. Yeah. And you said that. You saying it that we said this is not useful either, Jill. All right, let's see. Cowboys saying, I'm going to try to be there next time. I'm on Raptors tonight. You're going to try and go down there and be on Raptors tonight? Are you going to the game tomorrow? Go and be on Raptors tonight. Cowboy, I want you to get the shot. I want you to take the shot for the tickets or the duffel bag or the tote or the toque or whatever fucking prize you get when you spin the wheel. I want to see Cowboy take that shot and get that Raptors tonight prize. Yeah, you go down there and get there, Cowboy, and you tell him about the Raptor Freak too while you're there. Jill's saying it's a good show. The Raptors tonight, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I like it too. Stargate saying, I didn't say Darko wasn't a good coach. I didn't say I didn't like him. I just said I have skepticism as to if he's the right type of coach for this team. I'll watch the Open Gym as I have seen it. You haven't seen it, or you should watch it. Just watch it. In some ways, it gives you really good insight, Stargate, on the inner workings of his relationships with each one of the players. You see very inside stuff of how he teaches and how he bonds with the players and each different ones. And it's very different approaches with different ones. When you see his people person skills, and then you add on the idea that he's a technical coach that understands like X's and O's very well, and he understands flow of games. You've got to understand how long he's been coaching, since the 90s. He's coached all kinds of different situations as far as like where your team's up or down, or you got new players or this. He's been through the fire of G League, then the changing of coaching a G League team with the changing personnel over and over again. You know, and once again, I'll say he's the kind of coach that can be a development coach now, and later on he can still be our coach when we're winning and we're at a high level also. That kind of continuity is important. That everything he's trying to build as far as culture, his system, and the whole idea of what the Raptors are supposed to be in his mind is really, really good. Trust me. Just trust me. Now, you're saying it's fit? You don't know if he's the right coach for this team? Well, this is how I'll argue this. Scotty is a very offensive-minded player. We did need a defensive-minded coach in some ways. We need a offensive-minded coach that's very creative and open-minded to like ideas. In some ways, we needed a coach that's willing to cater to the specific skill sets of the players we have, and specifically Scotty. So Darko, being a development coach, somebody who analyzed skill sets of players and what's the potential of skill sets of players from what he sees in them, is a perfect coach for this. Because the idea of what Scotty Barnes is in Darko's head is an idea 5 years from now that is very interesting. He has a vision for what Scotty can be, and he wants to build towards it. And Scotty's heard his vision. He's probably heard the finish line and what he's saying. This is what you could be in 5 years. If you believe in me, I will take you there. And he's bought in. Scotty is fully bought in and fully trusts and really, really loves his coach. I can tell already, because he's told him the future and what he wants to do with him. And Scotty loves what he's telling him. And in some ways, he may have seen already little progress so far that he trusts him, that he can get him there. That there's a real change already where he can say, well, this guy knows what he's talking about. Because look at what he did with Jakob's free throws already. Or look what he's done with this aspect of RJ. He's only been here for a month. So that's the thing. He has a vision, a long-term future vision of who Scotty Barnes should be in this league. And Scotty shares that vision with Darko. And that enough right there tells me he's the right coach for this team. That may be the most important thing right there, is what I just said right there. So if it's a fit thing, I think you got to understand the fit is whether Scotty wants to be a partner with him in building what we're doing with this team. And Darko's such a good people person, and everybody loves him. It's not like he has stuff go south all of a sudden. Almost all the former players that played for him, people like Dennis before, love him and speak glowingly of him. He's not like he's toxic. He gets into these places with his really good players where they start not trusting him, or he lied to them and they turn on him because, oh, you lied to me, coach. You said you were going to do this for me, and then you do it. No, he's upfront. He says what he's going to do, and he does it. And that's why he's the best fit and the best coach for us right now, is that right there. I don't see a path of him in his past and his coaching history where there's a lot of disgruntled players that he lied to and he didn't get along with all of a sudden. No, I see a lot of people like Desmond Bain that absolutely love him and will love him for the rest of his life as a friend, not just their former coach. So it's an interesting thing. Kareem's saying Christmas, Easter, Super Bowl Sunday are my favorite days of the year. Oh, yeah, my wedding anniversary. I'm glad your wife is not in this chat. Kareem, I don't even, it's funny. That's so funny. Let's see. Cowboy said, on a Sunday morning sidewalk, I'm wishing, Lord, I was stoned. Oh, I love that song. On the Sunday morning sidewalk, I woke up outside the church. Yeah, that's such a great Johnny Cash song, man. Yeah, I love Johnny Cash. I will sing some Johnny Cash. You give me a Johnny Cash song. I wish I knew the lyrics to that song better. I'd sing that song. I know the tune, kind of. I can do like the song title, I guess. Jillian saying, I watched the open gym. I still think that throwing all the new guys out against the Cavs wasn't necessarily the best of ideas, but I'm entitled to my opinions, and it doesn't mean I'm negative. Well, we've covered this, Jill. In some ways, I want to move on. In some ways, we can repeat this 5 times over and over again. Yeah, it was a mistake that Darko did this. We'll keep saying he made a mistake. We'll just keep talking about, why don't we talk about the things he did right? Do we have to just harp on his one mistake 5 different times during the stream? That's what you do when you repeat stuff over and again in my chat. And that's what I had the problem with you before, is that we talk about a subject, we drop it, we move to the next one, and rehashing it and saying, oh, I was right. And this, like, don't have an ego in this. In some ways, it's not about having an ego. If I'll recognize when you guys were right, you said stuff. It's like, you don't have to circle around and tell me, I told you I said this. I'm keeping score. I remember this. And in some ways, listen, it's not about being negative. It's I'm overprotective of our coach. And anybody who's coming at him in any kind of way, I'm going to go be a little bit of a guard dog. That's just how it is. Right now, he is the one person I'm protecting the most. It was a month ago, it was Masai. Now it's Darko, because I see the people coming after him. And that's the only reason why I'm doing this right now. In some ways, you're right. You're entitled to your opinion, and it's noted, and I have the same opinion. But it doesn't mean we keep going on and on about it. What's the point of that? We talked about it. We covered this subject. I want to go past it. We've recognized that Darko made a poor decision with his rotation in the second quarter. We don't need to say it anymore. It's not worth talking about over and over again. I'm going to be on here for 3 hours, and we're going to talk about this for a half hour of it. It's really a 10-minute talk at some point is what I'm saying here. Nameless is saying, Darko is not making mistakes. It's a coordinated madness to develop players in certain situations and seeing what works and how they respond so he can correct them later. See, there you go. And his entitled to his opinion. He doesn't think he made a mistake at all. In some ways, I like what you're doing. You know what? I'm changing my idea. He didn't make a mistake. He threw them all out in the deep end on purpose because he wanted to see them fail and how they would react to failure. That's brilliant. What a great idea by Darko. It was a mistake. See, you can spin anything any which way. That's the one thing you learn in this world. You can make anything good or bad. It just depends on how you give the supporting facts. Yeah, people in politics understand this very well. Very, very well. Nameless and I are on the committee that he makes no mistakes. He is absolutely perfect. That's right. Country Kong saying, with our point guard situation, I really hope Marquise Noel or even JFL gets a chance with the Raptors also. Would love to see someone other than Scotty be able to initiate and get us into our offense. So right now, our point guard structure is Emmanuel Quickley is the starting point guard, and Scotty is the backup point guard. But we don't really have a third guard. In some ways, they even said this, that part of the reason why they did deal Dennis, this is what Darko said, was to clear things up more for Scotty to be able to handle more point guard duties and get more development with that. Part of the reason why they'd bring up the two 905 guys instead of going get a Corey Joseph off the buyout market as a backup point guard. They want Scotty to be in that hierarchy, taking a big slice of the point guard duties. So I think that Marquise Noel specifically would be more factoring into things currently if he did not have his hamstring injury right now. I think that in some ways you're exactly right. We're going to see Marquise Noel get chances with the Raptors up top because of the way we are going to go out for the rest of the season. I look forward to that. JFL's not a point guard. I don't consider him in part of this conversation. I do expect JFL to play on the Raptors, but I don't expect him to be part of the solution for this in this comment, Country Kong. So, but Marquise for sure, and his injury is the only thing holding him back right now. When he gets healthy, I fully expect him to see taking court for Scotiabank Arena for the regular Raptors. And I hope so. I want it to happen sooner than later. Get healthy, Marquise. I'm waiting for you to get back out there. I want to see it. Get out, get healthy for the All-Star weekend so you can do your up next thing. That is so important. I want to see you participate. Cowboy saying, you're good, Jill. No worries. Yeah. Jill saying, what time is the Super Bowl? I think it's right around 6:37 is when it starts. I'm not totally sure. 6:30 is what Cowboy's saying. Blackhawk saying, back-to-back means some players will not be optimum. No surprise that this was not a good game for Quickly, RJ, and Jakob. Darko should have tapped into other players. Maybe. You know, they were talking about RJ playing the second night of the back-to-back with his recent knee injury, whether he was ready to do that. We rested him on some of the back-to-backs recently, but no, they're saying he's okay. He's healthy enough to play 2 nights in a row. No big deal. That's a good sign, but that may indicate part of the lower outcome with his output in the game last night is that it was the second night of a back-to-back, and he has been injured recently, and we hadn't been playing him 2 nights in a row on back-to-backs in those situations. So that's a good point, Blackhawk. And in some ways, you guys may have been a little bit tired from the game last night, and it affected things. Plus, the talent of the team last night was much better than the Rockets. We have to give that credit. Seriously. Jill's saying coordinated madness. Very good. Yeah, some of it may be a little bit of a subterfuge underlying shenanigans they're trying to do on the down low that nobody's supposed to see. Nameless is saying what Darko is doing is molding these players like with clay. Any of you ever play with Play-Doh? How you roll and shape the pieces together? Did you have that little set where you push it through in the star and it kind of looks like poop coming out of a butthole? You know what I'm talking about with Play-Doh? Yeah, I had that. It was cool. And the alley-oop to Nameless for a great memory from your childhood, Country Kong. Yeah, I'll get with that for sure. We'll get with that. Where is Nameless on here? Nameless brought up Play-Doh. He's getting a dunk. That's pretty cool. Yeah, we've been talking about a lot of foods today. Play-Doh, alligator, Haitian patties. Yeah, Play-Doh isn't food. You know, you can eat it. Yeah, you can eat it. You didn't know that? Y'all have not been eating Play-Doh all this time. Why wouldn't you do that? You haven't lived until you've eaten Play-Doh. Next time, the Super Bowl spread better have Play-Doh dip with the nachos. You can dip your nachos in the Play-Doh. Yummy. Yum, yum. Jill's saying, nameless, our opinions don't mean we're being negative. No, I agree with that. I'm trying to explain this. I'm a watchdog, and anything that kind of smells a little bit like negativity coming out of certain people I'm protecting, I will go after them. That's all it is. You guys can have your opinions, and it's fine. And in some ways, look, I'm not going to agree with everybody. That's just how it is. We know that. We know that. But we're agreeing on this. It's just I don't want to harp on this so much. In some ways, do we want to really put on blast our coaches' mistakes? God, no. We want to talk about it, note it, and move right the fuck on, Jill. We don't want to just harp on it. Oh, yeah, Darko really fucked up. He's just making mistakes. No, we don't want to do that. There's other places doing that. And people that enjoy doing that, well, there's other spaces to go do that. It's not here. This is not the place to do it. We'll bring it up. We'll talk about it realistically. But do we need to keep talking about it, Jill? Can you let this go? Seriously? That's part of the problem is you're holding on to subjects too long in the conversations. You're having long dialogues about one thing. This is supposed to be a quick hit, go and get the next thing channel. And in some ways, you're drawing out a dialogue and you're talking to other people. This is my criticism of you in my chat, is that you bring out long threads throughout the whole thing on one subject and you bring it back, you boomerang it back. We're supposed to quick hit and move on. You're saying, well, you shouldn't be telling us what we should be doing. Yes, I should, because this is my channel. And I'm trying to work with you as a contributor, and I'm asking you to help me contribute to this channel in a way that helps me with my channel. I'm pleading with you. Please follow the rules of my chat. No crosstalk, no saying this like, oh, that's what I was saying, or you're right, or any of that. We don't need that. Just say your opinions. Write in a blurb about something you have to say or a question, and stop replying to so many people. I'm only coming at you right now because you're so forefront of like issues right now, as far as like not letting go of things and drawing them out way longer than they should be. It's after 12. I'm close to 3 hours, and you're not helping me with my stream times, Jill. Less is more. If you comment 5 times through my whole stream, I will be happy. You do not have to comment every other comment. That's part of it also. In some ways, less is more on this channel. I like the people like Country Kong who comes in here, he drops like 3 big comments, and boom, that's it. He's not trying to have ongoing conversations with other members in the chat. He's not trying to bring up a subject I talked about an hour ago over and over again. That's what I'm asking from you. Does it get across to you now? That's the whole reason why I was pointing out before is this. I'm just asking you to work with me on this. Please. Please, Jill. Please. Kareem saying, Darko's just trying to figure it all out. Doesn't matter who we are matched up against. Masai and Bobby emptied the puzzle pieces on the floor. Darko's just trying to put it together. That's right. I like that. You want to give him alley-oop for that? All right, we'll do that. We will do that. We'll give Kareem gets dunks for being funny. And Cowboy just wants to give him an alley-oop. We'll just give him alley-oop. Country Kong saying, Gary Trent and Bruce Brown were extremely disappointing last night. Gary, if he's not hitting his shots, leaves much to be desired. Bruce is settled in with his cowboy hats, but is still not producing. I think part of it's the matchup last night. You know, in some ways, the Cavs are really good on defense. And some of the open shots that Gary really enjoys recently were not totally there last night. They're really good at switching and covering and like going around and catching people. I think that was a big factor in this. Those 2 guys in particular. I think Bruce is too slow with his release. It's like he sits out there and he waits and then he decides to shoot. I'm like, dude, shoot, quick release. Too much time waiting to take the shot is sometimes what the problem is. Jill saying, I'm not the only person on here with this opinion. Don't single me out. Yeah, you're the only person who's not letting it go. How about that, Jill? See, you've got another comment. You won't let it go. Like I know you wrote this after I've said all I've said recently, but listen to what I'm saying. And if you have a problem with me telling you what you should do on my channel, well, get over yourself. this channel, I'm trying to right a tight ship. And in some ways, you don't help me with that. There's particular people that are a problem. And you can think I'm singling you out. Well, yeah, I am. Because in some ways, you write way more in my chat box than anybody else. And in some ways, that is not good. You should be sharing and let everybody get their own opinions in and allow themselves time. In some ways, you should be more considerate of my time instead of writing so much in my box. That's what I'm asking you, Jill. That's all I'm saying. And you can think I'm singling you out, but you're making yourself a target because you won't let shit go and you keep bringing stuff up. And half your comments are useless comments anyway because you're replying to other people. You've been very good recently, and I've been very happy that you've returned. And I think you're an amazing person. I'm just trying to work with you, is all. And this is not the first time this has happened with people on this channel. I've had to work with other people before in the past and talk to them about how they comment in my channel before. You could think I'm targeting you or singling you out. I had issues with other people I don't want to name right now because some of them are still here, and we work them out. So all I'm asking, Jill, is for you to work with me. You don't have to do exactly everything that I'm saying, but if you do just one of them, it will be an improvement. Trust me, it will be an improvement. Kareem saying Neon Moon alley oop to this guy. Okay, we can give him an alley oop. You guys always give each other alley oops. It's hilarious. Cowboy and Kareem Thomas, the Neon Moon connection. I love it. I love it. Wayne saying Jill, Lex will push back. It's just debate. We will critique whoever. If Lex doesn't like it, that's his problem. He's saying the same thing as us. He just doesn't like when we say he wants to lose. Yeah, some of it's semantics. Some of it's just like a slightly different saying of things. Some ways we're very much on the same page. It's just once again, I really want to make light that I am trying to be very protective of Darko right now. And in some ways, anything that kind of sounds like it's slightly negative towards him, I may go at it a little bit. And the nature of this channel is also we are allowed to have it unfigured out. Like we're not supposed to just come to the conclusion we're consensus, we're all on the same page. It should be wide open. In some ways, you guys are right all the time, and I'm wrong. And I fully admit that. I fully admit that. It's just that we are having discussions and we bring up the topics and we talk about them. That's all. Jill's saying, finally, Lex agrees with me. Throwing them all out at the same time wasn't ideal. I've said that. I said that originally, Jill. I said that at the very beginning of this whole thing. There was never an argument. It's just we were coming to the same place from the opposite sides. You were coming from maybe a more critical, derisive side, and I was kind of just saying, matter of factly, he made a mistake. He played the wrong rotations. Once again, we're talking about this way too long. Let's just say. All right, Blackhawk saying, I disagree with the sentiment that Darko had to play Oshai, and Kelly. Utah's a 7-hour flight to Toronto. They arrived the day before. Let them get a practice. Yeah. I'm with Blackhawk on this. I say play Kelly because the bigs of Cleveland for sure. One of the things that worried me about playing them together was they didn't seem like they were very well connected for being teammates from Utah. That Kelly and him were not playing off each other very well. In fact, they had turnovers off each other. I'm like, well, you guys were teammates. You just came from the same team. Why are you guys not connected? In some ways, that told me is like that was a waste of playing the two Utah Jazz players together at the same time because they're not even playing like they're connected on the court, like they've been playing together. It's something that I noticed in that. Nameless is saying he wants to throw them all out there at the same time, though, to create different stresses, moving the stresses like a needle on the dial. He wants to see how they work under pressure. Is this staying dry? If this stays dry, then it's doing its job. The deodorant. Yeah. We going to be all right. Preach, Nameless. That's right. Jill's saying, Wayne, I said Darko didn't necessarily choose a winning formula. I agree with your comments on here today. We have said similar things. Blackhawk's saying this team doesn't need any more stresses. They come together. That's right. We're all good freaks. Darko does not want to lose. That is true. Chris is saying the idea Darko is to blame is really way off. He and the front office have a plan and they're executing it, but we are early days now, and you can't become a winner in 1 week. It takes a few seasons. There you go, Chris. Very intelligent conversation. Comment from you. I'll give you a dunk for that. It's going to take time. It's going to take a little time, but I've got all the time in the world. To make the Larry O'Brien mine. It is written in the stars above. Nameless is saying Darko playing with the pressure gauges and flow adjustment valves on our piping system right now. Nameless, of course, is a plumber. He's going to say something like that. Cowboy saying, I agree, Jillian. He's just test driving his new cars. You guys with your analogies now, plumbing and cars. Blackhawk saying, by the way, I don't need stress either. Where's my fucking car keys? Okay. Wayne saying, yes, we agree. Bruce Brown doesn't deserve Boucher's minutes either. Ain't supporting Darko's dissing of Chris Boucher. Darko hasn't done anything for us yet. We support and critique at the same time. Darko's done stuff for us already. Oh, yeah, he does. Oh, of course he has. He's fought for his guys in a press conference, cussing about the refs. He's doing this amazing thing with their assists for different hospitals around the world. He's becoming a personality. He's done a lot of good stuff already. In some ways, I've seen him win some games recently where I've been really proud of how we won the game because we really have been in a bad place. So I'll have to disagree with it. You're saying Darko hasn't done anything for us yet. I don't think that's true. I'm not supporting Darko not playing Chris. I will agree with that though. Let's see, Blackhawk Dap. G saying, good morning. Realistically, the Cavs are just a deeper team. They have been building out this roster for a few years. Recently, we have taken steps back to move forward. Yeah. The Cavs invested in three-point shooting this offseason with Strus and Yang, and it's paid off. They have a real three-point kind of shooting look to them at this point. It's very dangerous. We'll have to see how they do in the postseason. I don't believe in them, though. I'm going to tell you that right now. They're a good team. They're a top team. They may be a good regular season team, but the postseason's different. And I don't know if they're built for the postseason. We'll have to see. In some ways, I'm hating on them. I know. And, Jack Armstrong saying, a lot of y'all are missing the boat on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Well, I'll miss that boat, and I'll take the risk of being wrong later. And I'll just say, yeah, I don't believe in them. I think they're a good team. I think they're a good Eastern Conference team. They may be a good regular season team, but I don't know if they're a good playoff team. We'll have to see. Let's see. Chris is saying, I will also say that while I like Chris Boucher, he is also not the key to a championship, and Darko seems to be looking further afield. Well, in some ways, he's the past, and we're going towards the future, and he's a known, and we have a lot of unknowns. And in some ways, the time needs to spend on the unknowns, and the known does not necessarily need to get time. That's the big reasoning for this. It's not that Chris isn't a good player. It's not that he's in trouble. It's just that we know who he is. We know what he offers, and in some ways, we don't need to discover that right now. That's part of it. Wayne saying, agreed, Chris. We didn't say Chris was that. Yeah. One step back, two steps forward. Nameless saying, poor Canaries. How many Canaries sacrifice their lives for a personal gain? Canaries in a coal mine? Yeah, that's messed up. They did that to them in the mine shafts of our countries. Wayne saying, further ahead ain't McDaniels either. He's playing. Well, McDaniels is newer, and he's younger. And we are still discovering some things about how he fits with our guys. So playing him, I understand why they would play him. He's in the same boat as Jordan Wara in a lot of ways. In some ways, Chris is not in the same boat as those two guys. Kareem saying, it's hard for a first-year coach to have his whole roster flipped upside down. We can critique all we want. He lost his best defender and his best scorer. Let's all just take it easy and trust this office. That's right. That's right. I'm with you on that. A laid-back allowance for ups and downs and just accepting the team for where they are at the present moment at any given time, losing or winning. Yeah. Cowboy wants a 3-pointer for Kareem. Man, all right. You may be just feeding him too much now. Like I've already seen you give something to him. You want to give more to him? All right. He's at 41. He's very much getting ahead of everybody now since his 6-pointer the other day. Let's see. Cowboys saying, everybody stay positive. Winning is coming sooner than later. Let's go Raptors. And Cowboys saying, Isaac, you know it. And Cowboys also saying, big up to the Raptor Freak family. Jill saying, we beat this topic to death. Yes, we did. Jill, all due respect. I love you. In some ways, let's keep this in mind. I'm with you on that. Mischief saying, Cleveland has basically 2 centers in their starting lineup, and they're number 2 overall. Why Raptors need stock up on centers this free agency? I think we're good at this point. Like, seriously, if we drafted Zach Edey this summer and we got Jonte, Kelly, and Jakob going for it, that's 4 centers. That gets the quota. 3, I was okay with just getting 3. And we've got 3 right now. So in some ways, that's pretty cool. Jill saying, Snoopy, how come some people never show up on our screens? I don't know. Maybe why I don't know why you can't see Snoopy. Now, in some ways, there's the top live chat and there's the live chat. You may need to look and see if you've just got top chat because you may be excluding some of the people that may be in here that you don't see. So that may be why. Just got Scotty on blast. I love it. Wayne saying Alex might be conflating our critique of Darko with other haters. I have no problem with Darko. He's perfect for us currently. He just didn't help himself last night. Let's all say we love Darko. Yeah, that's probably exactly right, Wayne. I'm sensitive to this. In some ways, like I said, I'm like that angry guard dog protecting the baby from the mean robbers. So there's a little baby in the yard, and I'm on the chain. I'm the only thing between the robbers taking the baby, the Lindbergh baby, to call them and get hostage, get some money. No, I'm that dog. I ain't letting them get to that baby, and Darko's the baby. And that's what it is right now. And you're exactly right. I'm conflating your critiques, which are honest, useful, and they're not wrong. They're your own opinions, and I agree with them. I'm conflating them with the general negativity going at Darko right now, for sure. Cowboy saying it happens to me sometimes. It's all good, Jill. Yeah, I'll go out Cowboy too. I go everybody. In some ways, I can't help it. I got to be exactly me. It's part of what makes this channel. And I'm so no filter. I really don't talk. I don't think about what I'm going to say. So when I read what you're saying, I'm giving you my real reaction in that moment. And I don't even like second guess or think about it. In some ways I should probably, because sometimes I'm wrong with my reaction and I have to circle back. But on this one, I'll stand with it. I'm going to stand with Darko and protect him. And I know y'all aren't anti-Darko. You guys are for Darko. I know that. Jill's got everybody. No O'Shea yet. Yeah, well, he's not big enough yet. You got to be a bigger player on the team to get one of those. We only have a certain amount of those, so the top players are going to get them. We got Jakob, Gary, RJ, Scotty, Emmanuel, and Kelly. That's pretty good. We got Grady in there. There's only like 10 of them, I think, and there's like Masai and Bobby and Darko, and then me and Mo are also a couple of them too. So there's only a certain amount of slots. And I don't know if we're going to get a Baji in those pictures. I don't know. In some ways, it's not up to me. I don't even have that power. I don't have power over who's in the boxes. It's Tom. Tom does it. And I don't even talk to him about it. He just does it behind the scenes. I have people working on this channel I don't even talk to. They're doing things to the channel, and I don't even know it. It's crazy. Cream saying we should switch our jerseys to purple and white. No. Just to symbolize to the Raptors fan base that we are in the era of the Raptors cracking out the egg. We will learn how to roar again. No. I don't want to do that. I'll disagree with this one. I want to go to red and white again next year. I like the black and red stuff, but in some ways we've been the bad guy too much. We got our Canadian guys. Kelly Olynyk and RJ Barrett would look real good. And some new chevrons with red and white. They can figure out how they do the colors. Maybe they don't do the exact earned, not given jerseys for the championship run, the iconic championship jersey, the red white chevron. I'd like to do that color scheme. It can't be exactly that jersey because that jersey is really special for the championship run. But I would like to go in those same colors somehow with a slight different color design. Maybe it's a little bit of an homage to the Raptors championship year. But yeah, I'm really about red and white. Let's go as Canadian and patriotic as we can with two Team Canada players on our team. In some ways, it's easy for these guys that play for Team Canada to not get messed up by the jerseys. If the Raptors jerseys looks very similar to the Team Canada jersey. They're just looking for a red and white jersey wherever they are, whether they're Raptors or they're in Paris playing for Team Canada. Yeah, I'm with that. Jill saying, I agree, Wayne. We are with Lex, not the haters. I totally understand that distinction, Jill. I know you're a real one. Honestly, Jill, you're one of the most passionate, positive fans I know about the Raptors. If anything, sometimes it's just you're misguided. And sometimes it's not your fault. It's just sometimes you just don't know. Or sometimes it's just a miscommunication where I'm not interpreting or understanding you correctly. And I completely understand that. I love you, Jill. I love you, Jill. You are a very good Raptor fan. I love you so much for it. Your passion is undeniable. Undeniable that you are a good fan for this team. I know you are. Let's gook. What is that word? You mean let's cook? Let's cook? That doesn't sound right. Nameless is saying, I'm just going to say that Darko has placed a premium on development. You don't need to win to develop. You can win in an ugly fashion that doesn't necessarily translate to improvement or development. This is true. You can win and there's no development. You can lose and there's an extremely good amount of development. In fact, sometimes if you're winning too much and it's kind of hollow victories, you may get a false sense of achievement when you really shouldn't, and you're fucked up because you do finally play somebody who's actually better and you were getting easy wins and you shouldn't have been resting on your laurels because you weren't that good actually. There's a lot of different ways this can work. You can get really good development in losing, trust me. You can get really good development in losing. Isaac's got Kelly on blast. Nameless saying you need to create failure because it's conducive environment for learning and development. This is true. Being absolutely horrible against Houston and New Orleans in this last week gave us some really good places to improve from. That's for sure. Jillian saying at Nameless, I look forward to seeing more of what the Raptors did against Oklahoma City Thunder. I look forward to this. Playing at a very high level against a high level team and hanging with them, except executing at the end and making sure they get the win. That is the big difference we want to see in development from that game. Good point, Jill. I want to see more basketball like that Thunder game, too. That was a very fun game. Cowboy said, I'm probably by the dog park. He's over by the dog park already with his mug. He's waiting for y'all across the street from the real jerk. That's where he is. Wayne's saying, hey, I have tolerated Lex's hatred of purple and white. Purple and white is the sacred color of my alma mater back home. It's synonymous with success. Big up all Kingston College pass boys. There you go. I like that. Now, in some ways, don't get it twisted. It's not that I hate purple. Actually, I really do love the color. It's very important color to my girlfriend. It's her favorite color. It's just that it symbolizes the expansion Raptors to me. An expansion time was a difficult time of losing and a hard time. In some ways, Kareem's idea of making our colors purple again makes sense kind of with where we're at. And he's exactly right. But to me, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go back in time. I want to keep going forward. And red is the primary color of the Raptors that I like to focus on and not the purple of the past. I love that color, actually. I think that color is all about royalty, majesty, and good stuff. And you know what? Be proud of it in your alma mater and stuff like that. And don't take it as me hating the color. It's just that in some ways it symbolizes the early tough years for the Raptors. And that's why I look at it that way. That's why. Name is saying, as long as the team is winning, the development message falls on deaf ears. When you lose, you have all the players' full attention. Yeah, exactly. In some ways, you got to do it that way. Name is saying, this is why Darko is placing players in difficult situations. This is why you're not seeing players like Boucher. Yeah, because he knows what he's got. Isaac's saying Scotty is the GOAT. All-Star Scotty Subway Bowl over the Super Bowl. I can get behind that. And Cowboys saying we're all good. Trust Masai, Bobby, and Darko. We're coming NBA. I agree with that. Name was saying players playing like Boucher over some of the younger players will mask and hide some of the other mistakes that Darko wants to highlight. Yeah, I mean, I guess that there's probably some truth to that. There's probably some truth to that. I could see it. I like Nameless's whole idea of the organized chaos and kind of trying to throw them to the fire of like really unsettled and like see how they deal with like not the easiest. I can totally get what he's saying in that. Imbu is saying it's unfortunate the best point guard on the team is not playing due to injury. With the changes to the team, this would have been a great opportunity for him to shine. I agree with this. This is a travesty and a sadness that Marquise got hurt so badly, and he's not available right now. In fact, you can tell in his Instagram stories that he's talking about that. Let's go do this. Dubber Don is in the Trailblazers now, and it's weird seeing him run around in a Portland jersey. He did make his debut. Some ways, it's a big upgrade over Boston, but very interesting to see Delano. A very nice dunk there. Really explosive play. Looks like it's going to be a fun little group for him to play with. The youngsters, the very talented athleticism of the Portland Trailblazers. I think Delano Banton might fit in very, very well with that franchise. So you go, Delano. I only wish you the best, and I'm so glad you're not on Boston anymore. In some ways, I am really, really happy about that. RJ's got a picture of Mitchell Robinson has posted a picture of RJ saying he's legendary and celebrating RJ. So RJ has reposted. He's in the Knicks jersey, just so y'all know. But Mitchell Robinson is showing respect to his former teammate, and RJ reposted it. Grady's got some of his highlights from last night. He's got Rock Chalk, the Kansas saying about Rock Chalk. Yeah, so Grady had a good game. Dennis has got Freeze going in his new Brooklyn jersey. Yeah, he had a no-look pass. He played really well in his debut for the Nets. They won. They like him a lot. They've welcomed with open arms, and he's already doing the freeze. So something good must be happening. He had a buzzer-beating alley-oop that he threw into the teammate from out of bounds, and they made it. That's really, really good play by Dennis. He's fitting in with the Nets right away. In some ways, it's sad to see, but I'm also happy to see that he's getting success right away with no looks. It's also Junior Schroeder's birthday. He turned 5 today, guys. Happy birthday, Junior Schroeder. If you're a Raptor in the future, I'd love it. If Dennis Schroeder Jr. is a Raptor in the future, I'd love it. Kyle Lowry has this tribute video he's putting out towards the city of Philadelphia about him coming home as a native son to play for the Sixers. And it's an interesting dream come true. So if you want to go see that Kyle Lowry stuff, Open Gym. It's a clip from Open Gym, actually. And then Pascal is laughing at Tyrese Halliburton did this crazy play where he threw it off the backboard to himself, and then he tossed it out to Siakam for a 3, and he nailed it. That's pretty impressive, honestly. Jordan Wara, getting a little clip of him pregame shooting around. Mr. New York City is saying gratitude, even though he knows he's in this situation where he really wishes he could take this opportunity, like we're saying, but he's hurt and he knows it's there, but it's going to come back. It's going to come back and it's going to get you, Marquise. So just you'll get there. And Mogi, I guess he's posting his dad. He's proud of like getting to the NBA. I think that's what's going on. And then he was post pictures of him shooting around before the game. There's your Raptors Instagram stories. Not that interesting in some ways. Some of it's interesting, but not that interesting. Let's see. Cowboys saying, Jill, do you have an NFL team? And Jill's saying, I think Boucher gets his points, particularly at the end of games. He does this regularly. Yeah, he's good at getting extra chance points, second chance, offensive rebounds, putbacks, getting fouls and rebound situations. He's got a lot of good skills, and but we know who he is. That's the whole point at this point. Nameless is saying playing Boucher is counterproductive because he will negate the issues Darko is trying to create. See, he wants more chaos, and in some ways, Chris is going to make things too easy, and he wants the chaos without Chris out there. I get it. Wayne's saying, Nameless, I can buy that rationale. Yeah, see, we're getting behind the chaos theory. Cowboy saying, let's go Darko. Jill's saying, Cowboy, I'll look at the commercials and the halftime show and maybe Swift. Yeah, that's all I care about in the Super Bowl. In some ways, I don't care about the game. The commercials are all often very entertaining. And I won't be, I mean, Taylor Swift would be a fun little like thing just to see. If I drank still, maybe Taylor Swift would be the drinking game today. Every time they show Taylor Swift on the TV, you have to drink, but I don't drink anymore. But that may be a fun game for people to play today. The halftime show, yeah, we want to see Usher. We want to see him get out there and dazzle us with his moves. Usher, that's right. Yeah, look out for Usher. Let's see. Infamous is saying the play is under review, and that play should be turned over. That dunk deep dish is hilarious. That deep dish dunk is hilarious. You want me to review it? That's so long ago. That's an hour ago. I can't do anything with that. Nameless is saying that's exactly the player's challenge. You can't do it this late. You got to call it sooner. I'm sorry. Nameless is saying that's exactly what happening, Wayne. Darko's a premier coach in the league. It only looks like he doesn't know what he's doing because we don't see it from the inside perspective. Yeah, there's a lot of reasoning for why he does what he does. And we don't know it all. We don't know it all. Cowboys saying, got to go later, Lex and Freaks. Have a great Sunday. Let's go Raptors. Tomorrow, let's beat the Spurs and have a fun Super Bowl Sunday. 9:05, beat the Windy City Bulls. 3 o'clock. Shit, I better finish up. It's going to be 3 o'clock soon. Cowboys saying, let's grow with the Raptors. Jill saying, see you, Cowboy, tomorrow. See you tomorrow, Jill. Also, she's got the Raptor heads on blast. Cowboys saying, same bad time, same bad channel. That's right. That's right. Monique saying, let's stay together, Raptor Freak crew. Real ones will still be here. Keep up the great streams. Let's go, Raptors. You too, Monique. And thanks for calling me out on my wrongness about Justice Winslow. I'll admit I was wrong. I never thought that Justice Winslow would be on the Raptors. Well, he is. And I was wrong. And I'm happy I was wrong. I'm very, very happy that he is. It's a really, really awesome thing, honestly. It's good because in the future, I'd like there to be more guys that are brought up from the 905 like that and really utilize our G League team. Wayne's saying, nameless, I'm not saying he doesn't know what he's doing. From a fan perspective, as a sports fan, having all new unfamiliar players at the same time is a fail. And wow, that's the 11 o'clock timeout. Wow, I'm way behind. Nameless saying, Darko's taking this whole team to obedience school like I used to do with my pit bulls in the first few months. That's crazy. All right, Jill's saying, Lex, reporters asked that how much longer he wanted to keep playing. He said he's 35 and he doesn't see his kids much. So it's a decision he'll make with his family. This was the other day. Well, in some ways, it may not be totally his decision. He's waived, and I don't think he's going to get picked up right now. He may be retired whether he likes it or not right now. In some ways, when we say this, it's more not necessarily about the player. Every player thinks they can play longer than the league will think they can. Some of the players that retire on their own recognizance, well, that's lucky, but that's not very often. Most players leave the league because the league decides they can't play anymore. And him getting waived by the Nets may be exactly this. That's why I was saying I'm worried that Thad's career may be over, that he may not have a team that's looking for him at this point. And that may not be his choice. That may be because the league has decided it. And no team wants him. That's just how it goes. Jill saying at Blackhawk, you live near Ottawa like me and Fiercey? Maybe we can all go down together. No, Neil's here. He's here in Toronto. Yeah. Seymour saying dunks for everyone but me. All good. I'm going to go hit this blunt too myself. Laugh out loud. You ask if you get none, and you don't get none if you don't ask. All right. You want a dunk. I'm going to give you a dunk, Seymour. You get dunks all the time. What are you talking about? You're at 18 now. Bam. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Jill saying Seymour gets a dunk. There we go. We did it. Nameless is saying, what kind of blunts do you like, Seymour? Are you a backwoods kind of guy? Yeah, backwoods. Yeah, people love those backwoods. They're so weird. Wade Stranger saying site full of weed heads. Yeah, I mean, in some ways, that's my culture for sure. Jill saying I do not smoke weed. Good girls, Wayne saying. Jill saying, Lex, sometimes you have a quiz. I don't usually do very well, but I learn a lot. Oh, you mean when I do the trivia? That's what you're wondering about, why I haven't done that in a while. What's the season? When it's off season and I don't have enough to do, I'll do the trivia on Tuesdays. Yeah, we're going to have one come up, though, on the All-Star weekend. We're going to go to off-season mode for a little bit during the All-Star weekend when we don't have stuff going on. I'll do some All-Star content, but we're definitely going to have a Tuesday trivia and a Wild Card Wednesday that week. I'm not totally sure how I'll do the program for the rest of the week. There may be a Friday freak out. Thursday will be a reaction to the last Raptor game, I believe. And then, we got to kind of cover Scotty at the Skills Challenge and the All-Star game. So that will probably be the Sunday and the Monday streams. Saturday, maybe a Saturday Share the Love Club. So we'll have to see. I'll have to figure it out. I haven't totally figured it out. I do know there will be a Tuesday trivia the Tuesday after the All-Star weekend and also a Wild Card Wednesday for sure. For sure. And you can come in and play, Jill. I'm sure you'll do great. Yeah. Let's see. Yes, Wayne. I think most of us are quiet about it on here. This is a cannabis-friendly space. In some ways, I'm open about it. I've talked about it a lot. I don't drink. And in some ways, that is my vice, is to be able to smoke cannabis. In some ways, I'm not allowed to do any of the other stuff anymore. So the one thing I'm allowed to do is cannabis. So God forbid, I quit cigarettes. I quit alcohol. I quit other things that were very bad for me. And I've kept the one thing is cannabis. But I'm also really strongly considering cutting that out too in the next couple years also. But yeah, it's just something. It's my one guilty pleasure at this point, guys. Monique saying, one thing I hate about Raptors fans, they put words in players' mouths. Jillian's comments make him do his decisions. Just me. I mean, I understand, like, some of the negative fans want to have answers for confusing things that they don't understand. So they want to just fill in what they think it is. They see some problems on the team. They want to cater to Scotty. Well, they'll make up shit like Thaddeus doesn't get along with him or Freddie doesn't. I get it. I'm totally with you, Mo. In some ways, the connecting the dots and kind of filling in the narratives, I know I do it and I'm guilty and I'm a hypocrite for saying it. But I try to do it in an educated way that's fruitful and positive for the team and not like just out of pocket crazy, like this thinking that like, oh, Fred and Scott hate each other that went on last year was not good in any kind of way and was absolutely untrue. So it's that kind of thing. Chris is saying, I don't smoke either, but my bet is that Swift gets a marriage proposal after the game. I felt like, holy crap, that might be pretty good. Maybe there is a bet at Vegas about a marriage proposal from Kels to Taylor tonight. Travis gets down on one knee after winning the Super Bowl and says, Taylor, will you marry me? Oh, that, you know what? That would be huge for the NFL. They'd love that. You get that little survivor, Boston Rob, Amber push from that. Oh, yeah, they'd be all about that. That might be good money on that, actually. Name is saying, Lex, can I see those hands of fury and how you make those subs again? Just say, Chris, this is an excellent idea. Laugh out loud. Good to know you don't smoke weed. Listen, I don't think it's a bad thing either. I think that y'all like don't look down on us because we're weed heads. Come on now. Like I said, it's my one vice. I don't get to drink alcohol anymore. It's very dangerous. I go to jail when I smoke alcohol, but I don't when I smoke cannabis. When I drink alcohol, I go to jail. So yeah, that's a big part of it right there. Let's see. Seymour saying, I use Century Sam's. Yes, Century Sam's. I used to sell those at the convenience store. Not the choice of most of the cannabis kids around Kensington Market. They were all backwoods kids and particular flavors. There's crazy flavors to backwoods, by the way. There's all kinds of crazy flavors. But yeah, Century Sam, that's cool. I that tells me a lot about you, Seymour, actually. That tells me a lot. I was a cigarette profiler when I sold cigarettes and tobacco goods at the convenience store. And you have different people that buy different brands of cigarettes. You kind of see a profile after a while. There is a Century Sam profile. Seymour, you're cool, man. Century Sam people were always cool. They're a little bit different, Name is saying, I was about to say either backwards or centuries. You know what? It was mine down south was Swisher Sweets. Yeah, that was the big one down south. Of course, that was that brand. There was no backwoods back when I was doing that. But to be honest, I use the raw cones. That's what I use. I can't roll worth of crap. So having a cone that's already ready, just put it in. It's real easy for me. So I'm a raw cones guy. And preferably, I like the stuff, the papers that do not have any of the bleaching. No bleaching paper. All natural kind of papers are good, is what I'm looking for as far as with me. Seymour saying, Wayne Strainer, I'm a grown ass man. I ain't pushing it on nobody. I'm just trying to keep quiet like Tom Duke now. Too many touchy ass people in here. Nah, let's not take Wayne as being judgmental of this. He may be anti-cannabis, but in some ways it is what it is. It's a new world where it's opening up more and it's allowing for the ideas of cannabis. A lot of us are conditioned to think negative things about it because of William Randolph Hearst and his campaign and the war on drugs and all this kind of stuff. It's very new. Over time, things will amend and cannabis will be treated more like alcohol and tobacco. In fact, alcohol and tobacco are worse for human bodies than cannabis is. That's the funniest thing about this whole thing. The cannabis can actually help you. At Christmas this past Christmas, I was sitting in a room with all my family and everybody was wearing glasses except for my cousin Sean, who lives in Saskatoon, and myself. My cousin Sean is pushing 55. He's much older than me. And neither one of us are the only two in my whole entire family that do not need reading glasses in middle age. We do not wear glasses in any way. And I said to everybody out loud in front of my whole family, isn't it ironic that the two heaviest cannabis users in this room do not need glasses in their middle age? And my Aunt Mary looked at me and she's like, huh? And then Sean was like, yep. And it's true. All of my cousins, everybody else in my family needs glasses earlier in their life, except for my cousin and I that have chronically smoked weed our whole life. So I'm just saying there are health benefits to this stuff, and tobacco will kill you way quicker, and so will alcohol. That's the thing. That's the thing. Just because that was the legal drug for the longest, the legal substance. I shouldn't use the word drug. The legal thing to use for so long because it was societally okay. It actually kills way more people every day than marijuana ever did. I know for sure. Cirrhosis of the liver, drunk driving, abuse, casualties from accidents because you're drunk and you're an idiot. There's all kinds of reasons why you die because of alcohol. You don't die because of marijuana. If we want to get holier than thou about different things, we can really tell the truth. I mean, seriously here. Scarborough does Century Sam's. Yeah, I found that to be true. I found that to be true. Monique saying, I agree with Lex. Players can wait until 41. They can play until 41 in reference to Thad or Kyle. Yeah, yeah. I appreciate that, Monique. Seymour is steamed. And Jill saying, Seymour, it's not a slight towards you. I personally feel a lot of pressure in Canada to smoke weed, a lot. That's weird. Like, I don't listen, nobody should have to do anything just because they feel that. In some ways, I feel that pressure about alcohol in society. I feel like there's a lot of judgment. In some ways, this is part of the reason why I don't go out anymore. Is because even when I go to the meet and greet with you guys, I feel a little weird because I'm not drinking alcohol with you guys. In some ways, when you guys get really drunk around me, I get really like uncomfortable. That was part of the problem with this trip that Tom came on recently, is that some people just kind of serve themselves a little bit over, and I'm not mixing with that very well at all. I really am not. I really am not. It's just the where I am in life. I find so much pressure to drink in everyday society. I have people that look down on me. I have old friends that laughed at me when I told them I was sober now, and they said, "Well, you're no fun anymore." So I can see where you're feeling this from the other side, but honestly, in some ways, it's not the same. There's so much moral or societal integration of alcohol in society and rituals and what people do. We're cheering for success. Whether you're going to social events, everybody celebrates with alcohol. And in some ways, it's extremely difficult for me to be around any alcohol because of myself and my own problems. Now, if you feel pressure about smoking weed just because weed's all of a sudden in society and it's legal, that's different than me being addicted to a substance and it being in my face and me wanting to taste it again. It's just like I go to the basketball game on Friday night and there's that one fucking beer salesman. Oh my God, on the 100 level in my section all the time. Succulent, scrumptious, cold, beautiful beer, alcohol. You know that guy. If you go to the games, you've seen that guy and you hear him. Well, Tom told that guy to stop doing that at the game when we were there the other day. He knows, he doesn't know that I heard him do it. I heard you do that, Tommy. And he tried to stop and he was quieter. In some ways, he may see me in the crowd. He goes away because he knows I'm an alcoholic and I don't need him in my face, tantalizing me with scrumptious, cold, frosty alcohol. Like the way he sells it, he's a really good salesman. But for an alcoholic like me, he is a test. He is a trouble for me. And in some ways, I don't like being in an environment where I want to be there to watch the game and I got fucking alcohol thrown in my face. I got all these people throwing alcohol down their throats all around me and I can smell it. This world is not friendly to people like me. Forget about you worrying about cannabis and the influence on you. Just try and live my world, all right? You're not addicted to cannabis already and know that it will put you in jail and you want it so bad like I do with alcohol. So there's differences to this. There's differences to this. That's right. That is right. There's differences to this. Yeah. Seymour saying, just saying it's my choice what I do. I don't take it, the outcome, the whole chat, saying a room full of potheads, man. Well, a lot of us are potheads, and I celebrate that culture. And I think that we've had a stigma and people have looked down on us too long. And I think that's unfair. If anybody thinks I'm stupid because I've smoked weed most of my life, well, listen to me. Listen to me talk. You can be like, yeah, you are stupid. You fucking say stupid shit. All right. That's your opinion. But I'm just saying, there's been a lot of bullshit stigmas and stereotypes about potheads and cannabis that are absolutely untrue. You can look at somebody like Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps, how many gold medals did he win? Swimming and swimming, how much he did in swimming, the greatest swimmer of all time. He's a heavy pothead. He smoked weed the whole time he was doing that shit. And in fact, he's came out and said, look, y'all are so anti-cannabis, but look at what I've achieved in my life. And I will tell you right now, I use a lot of cannabis. You know, Kevin Durant, very much advocating, he's a heavy cannabis user. And he plays at the highest level in the NBA. You think that, you know, can't be Kevin Durant and be a pothead at the same time? Yeah, you can. He's proof. He's living proof. Kevin Durant smokes the hell out of some cannabis, and he is one of the top players in the league. There's no denying of that. So there's been a lot of misinformation about cannabis over the years. Really more in the last 100 years. In times before that, it was very much celebrated. It was utilized by Aboriginals and Native peoples all around this world in early times for very important ceremonies. And there were wise, sage elders that used it all the time for visions and inspiration. So, I mean, just because a newspaper magnate hijacked the reputation of a plant around 1920s, 1930s in the US for very specific economic reasons for his own capitalist reasons, that's why it gets a bad rap. It really is. It really is what it is. It's naturally grown on this planet, and it's something that humans have been utilizing for all kinds of different reasons since the beginning of time. And that's just the damn truth about the whole thing right there. Yeah, Seymour saying, enjoy your day. I'm out. You're out, Seymour. Have a great day, Seymour. We love you, Seymour. We love you, Jill. We love you, Nameless. Peace, brother. G saying, I don't smoke, but I find the chat about it funny between everyone who does. Yeah. Listen, I don't want y'all to smoke if you don't want to. I don't want to force it on you. I don't want y'all to think just because we talk about it that we want everybody to smoke weed on this channel. I like the fact that I can talk about cannabis issues with people on this channel, and we have commonality. In some ways, that makes me feel good, just as much as somebody would be like romancing the idea of alcohol together and finding camaraderie that way. So in some ways, me having a camaraderie with some of the people on this channel about cannabis is a healthy, good thing because I miss some of the camaraderie I used to have with alcohol with some people. You know, your drinking buddies. You used to be able to be connecting through getting drunk together. Well, I connect with people getting blunted and smoking a good spliff, baby. Yeah. Is it 420 somewhere? Let's go. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah. Yeah. Fiercey saying, fam is cracking me up. I love you all. We love you too, Fiercey. We love you too. Jill's got me at 11:30, and that was at 90 minutes ago. Yikes. Yikes. Jill's saying 12 o'clock, time for brunch. Lex, the Cavs are an excellent team. There was no doubt about this. Well, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes we want to look at ourselves and be so egotistical. We got to look at the other side and give them credit. In some ways, it's not about us on this one. It's about Cleveland. And Cleveland's just a good team. We got to give them more credit for that. Jill, I love you. Thank you for sticking with me. David saying, the funny thing is, even if we had our original team we started the year with, this game would have been considered a scheduled loss, being a back-to-back against the Cavs. David's exactly right. He's exactly right. In fact, at the beginning of the year, when I saw the schedule, I had pinpointed this game as a scheduled loss way before we even started the season. I saw it. It's like, oh, there's a weird back-to-back where we come back from a road trip. We're gone, and we come back and we play immediately 2 games right in a row. And then, of course, the second night is against the tougher Eastern Conference team of the Cavs. They put Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Boston, and the Cavs on the second night of back-to-backs in our schedule this season at different times. They very much, that's part of the schedule manipulation. Top Eastern teams on second nights of back-to-back all season long. Go look at our back-to-backs and see how many of those back-to-backs have a top Eastern Conference team on the second night of that back-to-back. And you'll see it. And David's exactly right. David's getting a dunk. David's getting a dunk because this is exactly true. I remember looking at the schedule at the beginning of the year and saying, whoa, this game in February against Cleveland looks like it's probably going to be a loss because they scheduled it this way. David's exactly right. Why is it a big deal that he played the new guys when they weren't ready? Were we winning that game anyway? Yeah, I'm with you, David. I'm with you on this. And C4C is where is he co-streaming Twitch? Who is? Oh, you mean Scotty? Scotty was streaming on Twitch those 2 summers ago. When he did it, when everybody's talking about it, I was there. We were there a lot. So that's when we were seeing him streaming a lot. I don't know if that's what you're asking. He doesn't stream anymore, hardly at all. Hardly at all. But when he does, we're going to be there. We're going to be there. Black Hawk saying, sorry, Jillian, I'm in Brampton. I used to go to Ottawa, met my ex-wife there. Yeah, he won't hold it against them, though. C4C saying, oh, it's like delayed, laugh out loud. Never mind. It's all good, my man, C4C. It's all good. And if you don't catch me live, 1.5 speed is the best speed to watch me on. I'll go way faster and you can understand me still. Wayne's saying we're on delay, Lex. So a point we press might seem repetitive when it's not. I agree with that. And you know what? I should be fairer to Jill. In some ways, I lose patience, and sometimes I go a little off. I appreciate you, Jill, and I apologize if I made you feel a little more singled out in some ways. Yeah, David's saying blasphemy, white zigzags all the way. No way, bro. David, you can't do white zigzags. That is hurting your health. There is dye in that white, in the zigzag paper that is bad for you when you smoke it. That's why you need the raws with the brown paper. I'm telling you, it's better for you, man. You don't want the starches and the white dye of the white zigzags. Just trust me on this. Common Crazy saying no swearing Sundays. I'm gonna give you a dunk, Common Crazy, for that. There's no swearing Sundays. I don't know. I don't think I swore a whole lot today. I don't think it was any more than normal. Like you know what? You don't have a dunk ever, Common Crazy. You're gonna get your first dunk right now. Why not? We're gonna give Common Crazy a dunk for. They always say the same thing. It's hilarious. All right, let's see. Wayne's saying I am sometimes a shit starter. I'm a smoker of the good stuff from age 14, which was far too early. At 63, I think I don't need it and prefer to lift weights, eat well, and bitch about Darko. See, I might become more like Wayne very soon. In some ways, I'm getting Danny Glover about this. I'm getting too old for this shit. In some ways, it's like I understand that like smoking with the lighter can be very dangerous to me because of the butane from the disposable lighters. In some ways, I'm thinking about maybe I'll go to edibles to avoid that kind of stuff, or I might just try and quit altogether. I don't know. It's very early. I've debated doing this in the recent years already, and I've had mixed results trying to quit. In some ways, it's a very behavioral thing, part of my schedule of my day. It's just like people who have cigarette breaks. In some ways, there's some behavior that's very ingrained in my schedule that I may have to really work on. In some ways, when I move, maybe this is when I'll take opportunity to change some of this. So there's a couple of different things here. I might go like you though and quit as I get older in my 50s. I probably will, honestly. I'm getting close to it. I'm getting to that point where I'm kind of like, you know what? I'm kind of sick of this in some ways. Jill's saying, Lex, I have non-drinking friends, so I try to drink less around them or not at all. Otherwise, it can be uncomfortable for me too. I know, and it's rough because listen, you have all your drinking friends and you want to be friends with them still, but some of them are active alcoholics and they haven't changed. You can't be around them anymore. Like it's sad. I tried to go to this thing recently in the last year where all my old work buddies from the Velvet Underground, the goth bar that I worked at 20 years ago, were having a reunion, and I went there. And of course, I haven't drank since 2010. I've got 14 years almost of sobriety with no alcohol at all whatsoever. And I go in there, and some of the people in there are just as up the bottle as they were, and some of them are still just as much cokeheads as they were at that time too. And to me, it was so disheartening and sad. I had to leave. I had to leave, and some of it was also like I was feeling a little triggered as far as I might drink myself because I'm around some of my friends that all I did was drink with them. And then some of it was also like, you know what, this is kind of sad. I'm revisiting this feel and this old vibe, but I've outgrown this by far. And in some ways, I see that some of the people that I used to know are in the exact same place and haven't changed at all in the last 20 years. So in some ways, it's kind of like that. Jill, as somebody who doesn't drink with that attitude with your friends, it is appreciated. I thank you. I will thank you for your friends in their stead as a non-drinking person for having that kind of consideration. Not everybody's like that. Some people have no patience for people that don't drink, and they get mad at them and they're just like thumb their nose at them. Some of my family members do not do sensitive things towards me and my drinking problems. In fact, they're very romanticizing and throwing the alcohol all in my face at family engagements. And it's very difficult. It annoys the hell out of me. I have a cousin who married this guy who likes to have a Christmas party and have all his friends come over and get drunk. And he's wondering why I don't want to come over and spend Christmas with them and get drunk with all them. Because I don't drink and I don't want to be around your friends getting drunk and seeing you and your friends get drunk because I ain't got nothing to do with drinking and I don't know your friends. And I'm sorry, I'm not about hanging around with random alcoholic guys that are just drinking and having a blast getting drunk. That's not a good time to me. That is not a good time to me. I don't even want to be around my friends that get drunk and do that kind of shit around me. I really don't. When people are inebriated around me, there's sometimes problems. This is why I don't go out anymore. You guys have fun, go to your bars, go out and drink your face off. But I don't want to be around you if you're doing that. That's just how I am. Thank God Adriana does not like drinking that much. That she never drinks around me. In some ways, that's a very important thing to date me, for sure. I can't date somebody who drinks, honestly. I really can't. Let's see. And I appreciate you, Jill, and all other non-drinkers do too. 1 o'clock, drink water. All right, let's get out of here. Let me wrap it up. I'm way too long. Alexathon, and I wasn't totally intending to. All right, last night was a disappointing game, but you know what? There's going to be ups and downs. The Cavs are a very good team. They're the hottest team in the league right now, so no shame in losing to them. It could have been closer. I would have liked them to get 100 points, like Jill was saying. I would have really loved them to close it up and get 100 points, but alas, it wasn't to be, and it was 24-point loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's too bad. It is what it is. The 3 stars of the game were Scotty Barnes, Kelly Olynyk, and Grady Dick. To me, the referees for today's G League 905 game starting at 3 o'clock, Robert Hussey, Brent Haskell, and Sarah Williams. That's Raptors 905 playing the Windy City Bulls at 3 o'clock. Obviously, none of the two-ways are going to be there. It's going to be a really bare bones 905 team, and I don't know how they'll compete or how they'll do with no Mohamedou Gueye, no Marquise Noel, no Javon Freeman Liberty, no Justice Winslow, no Jonte. Yeah, they don't have nobody down there right now. It'll be very interesting to see how they play, honestly. But congratulations to Gueye and Winslow on getting called up. That's a fantastic achievement, and I hope you guys stick and you keep going up there. Kyle Lowry is going to be a Philadelphia 76er, unfortunately. We have found that out. It's too bad. Nurkic, Joseph Nurkic played against Draymond Green last night, and he is publicly saying that Draymond Green has not learned anything from his suspension, and he doesn't deserve a chance to continue to play in this league. That what he did, he can tell that he has not learned from it. He has not been punished, and that this is stupid, that they think that he's come back and he's okay, and he's learned his lesson with how they punished him. That's what Nurkic is saying himself. All right, yeah, Jill's got Kelly on blast, and I love it. Smash that like button. All right, y'all, please like, comment, subscribe, and share, and let's go Raptors. I love you. Let's go Raptors. Let's go Raptors.